Um, Wait a second. I usually like to set it to gallery view, and then I'll switch over to speaker view when we're talking. Um, and then, yeah, just I don't know, just nobody hates staring at both of us. No one can stand one of us for a whole
Wait,
goddamn minute.
wait, do you have it split up so that you can see two people at once? So does it
What
like
does your
switch?
screen? What does your screen look like?
I see myself in the top right corner, and then I just see
Oh,
you like
okay.
below.
I guess because I'm recording, my what I'm recording on my screen will look different in the video.
Well, I think it's just the format of it like being set up. But
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
so do you think we're actually going to be going back for this spring semester,
Who?
like to UMass Amherst? Do you think we're going back
Oh,
like for the
where? Yeah,
spring
yeah, yeah.
semester?
No, I don't think so.
Because like I just like saw there was an update recently on the COVID cases there, and it's like a total of like 136 now, and even some of
136.
yeah
Yeah, it was
136.
124. It was 124 when I last checked because there was that video about like that news station going to UMass and they're like interviewing people around the campus area, and they're like, yeah, we gotta like social distance to keep everyone safe, and that's not happening. And
Yeah, no, some of the staff and faculty like we you some caught it as well.
dang,
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, I don't know how much longer this pandemic's gonna last. Really, it's kind of interesting, like how far it's gone.
dude,
I
why did
mean,
your tone switch when we started recording? You're like,
it's not a
well, so do you
tone.
think we're coming
It's
back to campus or not? It's like we were just talking about. I don't know. We were still goofing off. I'm totally. I'm pegging you so hard right now. I'm giving you a hard time. Uh, Sorry, I cut your train of thought. That was
well,
stupid.
no, I mean because there was a silence, and it's like, well, we have no topic to really transition into. So
I
I'm
guess
like,
so. No,
well,
no,
I gotta
that's
like figure
great.
something else
No, no,
like
this
that we can just talk about.
I'm being. That was a dick move of me.
No, just think
I didn't
cynical.
need to
Just
do.
think
I didn't need to
cynical.
do that. Yeah.
Wait, actually, I haven't watched the other recordings. How meta is it? Like how meta are these like podcasts?
Like talking about the podcast while doing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast. Honestly, honestly, like a good half of them, like,
Okay, that's
because
okay. I don't
because
think that's an optimal strategy, honestly. I feel like because like every popular podcast I know does not do that. Like Joe Rogan, like any of those kind of
yeah. Well, let me be clear. My goal for this isn't to like blow up or anything. I'm not trying to appeal to an audience right now. I just enjoy talking to people and like getting their perspectives on things, and like as long as I stay true to that, like it's helping me. I'm not, and because that's not my goal. I'm not trying to be. I'm not gonna try to let the fame get to my head. I'm kidding, but but no, I'm not trying to like. I mean, I like feedback, of course. To like, if people do watch it, though, I guess part of what it hasn't really been my goal, but maybe it will be one. Like, if people do watch it, because I really don't think people watch it. Some like Arnish kind of watches it religiously, but other than that, I think people like are on and off. Like, um,
I mean, I do like the format of it,
I
like the
haven't.
thumbnails made, like the catchy title,
Yeah,
just like the whole like
maybe
YouTube
I'm
channel
not.
itself.
Maybe I'm
Bam.
not taking. Maybe I'm not taking this seriously enough. Like, I'm not setting
Well, no,
high
the
enough
point is,
goals.
I think the point is like not to take it seriously. It's just like do what you enjoy, and if it
Hmm.
happens to like, pop off is the wrong word. If it just like happens to blow up, then like
Hmm.
it does, and if not, then like oh
I
well.
do. I do
Doesn't matter.
appreciate that input, though. When if I haven't thought about like too hard about what if my audience grows really big and I start having to like appeal to my audience, so to speak.
Mhm.
Um, then I'll have to maybe start like thinking a little more broadly as opposed to just like what I want in the now. Um, that
I
could
mean,
change. Who knows?
like when I think of content creators, like the ones that are like really huge, like I feel like the reason that they're able to like be so large but also be consistent with what they're doing is because they enjoy doing it. Like, have you followed the Minecraft like community scene recently? Like at
Never.
all?
Does it
There's
have to?
this
Does it have to do with like, oh, Steve got into
I
Smash
mean,
Bros.
obviously that's just for
That's a win
like I
for
mean that's
us.
all okay. I'm super hype about it. Oh
Really?
my
It
god.
just it's
Well,
kind of
even
lackluster to me. But
when you
let me let
lackluster
me let me
okay,
preface. I
okay.
didn't grow up playing Minecraft, so it's not really something I.
For me it was more of like a middle school phase and then I kind of stopped and then now I just like play it once in a while if I don't have too much to do. Um, but I don't know. For me, it's just so hype because the character like actually looks really good or even interesting. He could be potentially top tier. Like, I mean, I'm down to make like a tier list with this. um, I mean, I definitely probably should make one sometime because like he's actually being released.
Enderman S tier.
S tier, yeah. Well, okay. He's able to place blocks anywhere on the screen, right?
I
Which means
haven't.
you can
I
edge guard.
I like skimmed through the announcement, just so I don't really know too much about like how the movesets work. By the
Well, I
way.
mean, you've played Smash Bros. Before, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Your Nest main, like back throw, there we go.
yeah,
um,
yeah. You know me.
no, what I'm saying is that okay, in Minecraft you can place down blocks. Steve in Smash Bros. Can now place down blocks too, and you can
Hmm.
place down blocks off stage as well. I mean that you can edge guard someone by like
Oh
just putting it
wow.
above
Wait,
them, and they
what
can't
do
go
these?
through it.
What do the blocks like interfere with like edge grab stuff?
I
What you're
think they
saying?
do. Like you can
Okay.
break the blocks, but like if you have a recovery that has no hurt block or hitbox, then like that's just
You're done
unfortunate.
though. Yeah.
Like if you play Pit or Sonic or like those kind of characters, like you're probably gonna get screwed by like that move.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I'm hyped for the character mainly.
Hmm.
I mean, I was just like playing Smash Bros last night and like till like was it 2 a.m. I think, and I just like fell asleep like on a Discord call with a friend. And of course, he took screenshots of me sleeping, which was like, wow, thanks.
Is that how Discord works? You can wait. It was I don't. I haven't. Just let me know. I've like never really used Discord before. Like
No,
I.
you just take a screenshot of like your entire screen from like your computer.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
mainly. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of like capturing
Because
method
I
to
never
do it.
understood like how does this text, how does this chat box translate to like playing a game? Like, am I like playing a game and then like oh wait, no, there's a head. There's like you can talk to people as well. Like
Oh, well, okay. So you have channels. In each channel,
yeah,
there's like a group where you can like just talk with other people if they've joined the voice channel. So like, it
right.
depends.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of wish we used Discord instead of Zoom for like academics. I mean, there'd be too much memes, I know, but like I just feel like the organization would be like a lot easier. We can like have content here where it's like, okay, like this is lecture one,
Just
lecture
like
two.
yeah, just like function wise, it's just like more
Yeah.
efficient. Just
Um,
yeah,
and
because
plus you can have
a lot of my one of my professors complained. I think a couple, yeah, about like they wanted to do breakout rooms before like all before realizing that like Zoom can't handle breakout rooms so large, and like I don't know, it just didn't really work, and they had to like
wait,
quit smooth things around.
is it unable to handle like breakout rooms with a lot of people in them, or like with like just a lot of different breakout rooms?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like the class was like 200, and
Oh my.
they couldn't have so many big breakout rooms. I think Zoom would just crash. Like you remember at the beginning of the semester, like Zoom was just crashing nonstop, and then I think the professors just had to change things around. Like, all right, we're just not gonna do so and so anymore during lecture.
I mean, I am in a class of like about like 150 people for Psych 320, which is like learning and thinking. But we like frequently do breakout rooms, and
Hmm.
there's like not too many issues so far. But I mean, that could just be well. Here's the catch: the professor is actually using a Zoom link from a different university, so like they might have different priority when it comes to that. Because I know
Hmm.
for us, in the first like week of school, Moodle was down. Like every page that we needed to access was down. Spire just like it was brutal.
And I don't know whoever just engineered the whole setup for UMass. They just yeah.
Are we able to sign up for winter courses yet on Spire?
I don't think so.
Because like I
If
feel like
if it was, I would know.
I think most of us should do it like winter courses just because like we're gonna have like 3 or 4 months of like free time actually because
Right, right. We're
like,
finishing a little early.
we finish end of November, early December, something like that. Actually, no, wait. Are we? No, we're done before Thanksgiving, I believe, but we still have finals afterwards. Um, but then we don't start school again until the end of February, which is honestly just wow.
It's a lot
Um,
of time, yeah. I actually hated like how our summer like was so long. It
mhm.
felt so long because like we like I was already at home like chilling while like doing online classes during the spring semester last year, and like when school was over, it was like nothing's changed. I'm still here. It's like
I mean, it has been like so we left in March, so it's been 7, 8 months now, 6, 7, something,
some
a long time.
March,
That's for sure.
April, May, June, July. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a lot of months. It's felt very long. longer than it really needs to be.
Oh, that's true.
Usually, yeah, like around this time or a few months before this, I'd be by the airport right now, just be like, "Bye, mom, bye, dad, we go back to school." I didn't really need to do a voice for
Or a voice
that.
for your mom. Mom, bye, sweetie. Like, why did I give her a southern accent? You're not even in the South.
There's a guy who like calls me and he picks on me all the time about like he calls me a southerner. I'm like, dude, I live in like the middle of nowhere in America. Like, this isn't the South, bro.
I honestly would not be able to label your state on a map right now. I mean, I used to. Okay, I've once memorized all the countries in the world, the name of each and the location through Sporkle.com. Sponsored with
Okay.
not sponsored. Um,
Shout out
but
to our plug.
plug in. But state-wise, yeah. I mean, I've never memorized all the capitals though. But I
Hmm.
mean, you remember like in second, third grade, like, did your school system do that too, where we just like do a lot of memorization stuff, like
Yeah,
vocab tests and like that?
we had some big brain kids who remembered like all 200 countries
The,
or
the tryhards, like,
yeah, yeah, and then like no. I feel so stupid because I my brain operated at a higher level in middle school. Like I felt superior to everyone in the class, and then like I could remember so many facts. Flashcards were like my thing, and sometimes I didn't even need flashcards. I just remembered like all the material from class. I was about to say lecture as if I'm in college, but now we say lecture, not class.
I can actually really relate to that because middle school me, if I would ever prepare for a presentation, I would write it down on note cards, but I would actually memorize word by word what I would say for like a 3 or 4 minute presentation, and I
It's
would like just
insane.
do it so well.
We're so
Um,
stupid now. We're freaking
yeah, but I mean, I think maybe the reason why it was so easy for us when we were younger was, well, one, like we might be feeling a little bit burnt out after well, like 15, 20 years of education, but also like the idea that we're able to learn more quickly, like when we're younger, and now it's
yeah.
just like the more we age, like the slower things are. So it's like that's why we
I
have to
think
rely on like notes and that kind of thing. But it's
I
also
mean
just like I don't know, uh the more you socialize, just the better you get at it in general. So all you do need is notes, and then you can just kind of stem off of there,
would you say socialize?
like socialize.
Did you say social?
Yeah, socializing.
What do you mean by that?
Like what context again?
Wait, I don't know. You just said like gosh damn my short term memory. You said like
Okay, no,
social.
I'm just what I think is that the reason when we're younger that we, I mean, and this is like not like a particular case either. Um, we tend to like just memorize things word by word because,
Uh-huh.
well, like one, we're still kind of like nervous when it comes to presenting because we like don't do it too much.
Yeah.
But it's also like we haven't really like the amount we've socialized by the time we were in our 20s versus like when we were like in our teens is like very different. So like I just think you have a lot
Oh,
less
okay.
experience
I hear
like
what you mean.
that.
I get what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah. So and
They
yeah.
middle school was so like nitty gritty and nuanced. Like they made us care about every little detail, and like it was so pressured. Like, did you ever pull all nighters in middle school?
I actually didn't. I didn't
No.
do that then.
I like pulled. It was like it would be the equivalent feeling of like an F to me if I ever got one in my life. It would be that equivalent. Like wow, I had to stay. Maybe I pulled like one or two all nighters in total in middle school, but like those were like I don't know mind numbing. Because versus now, which is like I do all nighters all the time and it feels like nothing. But yeah.
We don't think much of it, but it's also like I feel like we don't really have a sleep schedule like either, which is probably
Mm.
something. I mean, at least I definitely need to work on still because like the times I go to bed is just so random. Like sometimes I feel like oh, I'm motivated to do some homework or just motivated to just like I don't know go out hang with friends that kind of stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I think I started doing all nighters in high school. But like that was like 10th 11th grade where we had to like do a bunch of stuff like we had AP exams, we had to like go for like, SAT, ACT prep, um like of course clubs, we needed to like apply to colleges, like all these kind
High
of like
school was so
chores.
brutal.
It really is. And especially like props to those that also needed to work part-time as well, like those that need to like support their families and just like that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff, or even like be able to pay to go to get into college and like having to go through so many scholarships and attend all these like different things, or there's even like a whole community service like honest, it's so competitive, it is really competitive, it's kind of insane.
I don't know if class size mattered at all, but like for me, like I knew everyone in my school pretty much. It was maybe, I mean, yeah, I had a class of like I don't know 130 kids, and I
Mhm.
knew every single one of them, and like I kind of judged each one of them based on their brains, basically. Like, oh, so these are like the top like, what is it like 10th percentile or something kids in the class or whatever. I
Mhm.
don't know how I forgot how they ranked us again. I like I can't remember, but
Oh,
I was
did they have, like, a criteria for, like, the kids in the class of, like, where they or is this in your head, or is this what they actually were, like,
no.
ranked?
This was like this was on like the transcript. Like you're a 27th out of like out of 130 kids.
Oh, my school well, my school did have that, but they didn't make it public. Like,
Oh, okay.
you would only know if you were
If
top
you asked, oh, okay.
actually, you could I mean, I know my guidance counselor had access to,
Yeah, a lot of kids would ask. A lot of kids would go to their guidance counselor and ask about that stuff. Like, hey, so like, what rank am I? Where am I on the tier
Am
list?
I the chill, yeah. Like,
You are
high
S
S,
tier,
A tier,
Julian.
please? I mean,
Yeah, you
I
are
know
broken.
I was definitely up there, but, I mean, I was also just my my daily lifestyle was literally just, like, food, homework, and sleep, and, like, that's kind of it. Uh,
What it seems like you were really motivated in high school. Like what drove you to like pursue I mean,
I
I can start somewhere with like let's say food. Like what was driving you during high school to like try to eat better and like I
oh,
don't
and
know.
I didn't start eating better till, college, really.
Oh,
Um,
you're right. Oh, I forgot.
well, it's just because okay,
I don't know,
so
you look fine in the freshman year and I feel like there was some
oh,
stuff.
well,
But
because I started losing weight over the summer because okay,
okay,
my
yeah.
max weight was like 241, 242, and then over the summertime, I just try to like get used to dieting because a lot of times I would feel better through food, which is like not the best coping mechanism, just because there's a lot of like health side effects and like obesity, just like might have a I don't know high blood pressure, that kind of stuff. I mean, I was like overall still healthy, but I think that's just because I was still young. I mean, if I kept like the habits that I did in high school, like 10, 20 years down the line, like my life expectancy would be shorter. I wouldn't be as like healthy or fit, and like I mean honestly confidence levels are like really affected by that too. But like of course it's just like being happy with yourself and just I mean that's like a whole other topic really. That's a huge like spectrum really like to go on about. Um
Yeah, I can relate to you honestly. Like I don't get that dopamine high from like drugs or alcohol or gambling or anything. Like when I
mhm.
am at a low point in my life, I stress eat like cuz that's like a very big insecurity for me. Like I don't know why it's so hard for me to like I always worry about money and like food on the table. And even if there's like even if it's like not a problem, I like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm in that. I don't know if I'm not eating because like I know I should be punished because I'm not healthy. It's more like oh like I should eat this because like it's gonna go to waste or something.
Right.
Like yeah, it's kind of lame. But yeah, I think I stressed eat a lot back in high school, and I think I don't know if there's any long term effects, but like I ate so much ramen as a kid, dude. Like it was so gross.
I mean
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
I mean obviously like the nutrition of what you eat like is kind of important, but like
and
you
it had
can
no nutrition.
no, that's the thing. That's the thing. Well, here's the thing. As long as it gives you calories, like that's a good thing. And as long as you don't eat too many calories, that's good as well. And if you just take like multivitamin tablets and like that kind of stuff to make sure you get your micronutrients in, then even if you like live on a diet with ramen or that kind of stuff, like sure it might not be the healthiest, but as long as you can make sure you take other pills to like to fulfill the other needs, then you should be fine.
Hmm.
Although like you probably do need a source of protein and fats too, because those are like those two are much more important than carbohydrates. Uh, Yeah, no, I definitely okay, yeah, when I started losing the weight because like okay, my lowest I've ever gotten was 160, 161, but that's I was just focusing on getting skinnier because like I'm more focusing more now on like body composition where like I just want to I don't know just kind of get a leaner toner, just being able to kind of just like I don't know, just kind of feel good in like the clothes I wear, that kind of stuff, just be comfortable because I mean I really hate it when I have like fat rolls to the side and just like have like love handles and sometimes like this is
You
disgusting, but
still
like
have them? I think I looked at you one time. Like I don't know, in your dorm room, and you look fine. I think.
Um, kind.
I mean, mine's are okay. They're not awesome
I
either.
mean,
I
I mean,
could probably lose these as well.
I mean, it's. I mean, some. I mean, some fat is. I mean, of course, like you
Yeah.
need some fat. I mean, I remember like research like does say too that like being slightly overweight is actually considered healthier, just because if you do get sick from something, like you're more likely to survive it than if you were like on the other extreme end of the spectrum, anorexic or that kind of thing, where it's like your body's already weak, trying to fight for itself, and it has to fight like against some other kind of disease or whatever, and it just makes things more difficult.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder what's worse, like being anorexic or yeah, it's probably worse being anorexic, honestly.
I think so. Yeah, because anorexic people consider. Well, I mean, I have no experience with it, nor have I talked to people, but like what I assume is that they generally just don't like eating, or they consider eating a chore almost, and so for them to actually like gain weight or that kind of thing, they actually have to think about it because a lot of times their like leptin and ghrelin like levels just like completely messed up and just like they can't really tell. I think they can't exactly tell if they're hungry or not.
That's interesting.
Um,
I didn't. I mean, there's probably people like that for sure. I always imagine like I always think about like the archetypal like girl that gets fat shamed and then she like doesn't eat food at all and it's like
Mhm. Well,
you
yeah,
know.
it is kind of like the social pressures and that kind of thing. But I mean, I feel like the body movements nowadays are like really good too, though, where it's just like, oh, like body positivity, like every like size is good. I,
Oh, are you
but
okay with that? I
no,
am.
okay, no, okay.
Makes
I
me
was like,
irk.
you did not hear the but. You did
Oh,
not hear
okay,
the
okay,
but
okay.
here.
Sorry,
I,
I'll
I was
let
gonna
you.
get to that.
I gotta stop
Uh,
cutting people off like
it's
that.
like no, I think it's a great thing, except of course like when it is unhealthy. But also, I want to specify that it's honestly like this whole weight stuff is honestly more directed or um it help it's more directed towards women than it is towards men. Where like you will never see like a fat guy on like a Vogue magazine or like that kind of thing where it's like, oh, he is like attractive, he is handsome, like that kind of thing. And I mean, because a lot of times you just see like some like just either bulky or lean dude on there. It's like, oh, how to cut off like 10 pounds of fat in 2 weeks, which is like honestly impossible. Like
Mhm.
honestly, gaining muscle mass already is extremely difficult. Like if you're not on steroids or PEDs or like any of those other supplements, like it takes literally, and also depending on your body type too. Like if you're like an endomorph or mesomorph, like you can only gain like a maximum of like maybe like 10 to 12 pounds of muscle in like 1 year. And then every consecutive year, it's maybe like 5 to 6 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds. And it just like, it just, it's very difficult as all. And the consistency that you need, the amount of sleep, the food, the nutrition, the number of hours working out, making sure you hit every muscle group. It's so complicated, I feel like. And
Mhm.
I just feel like when it comes to body acceptance and that kind of thing, like for guys, like I just feel like there's a lot like shorter kind of range of like what it's expected for like how we should look as opposed to women. We're like, oh, women can be curvy or thin or like just like all these different like pear shaped, apple shaped, like phantom hourglass, like whatever, like phantom hourglass. That's too like why I always say phantom hourglass.
That's
Hourglass
that's
ones.
that's from Legend of Zelda, dude.
Yeah, dude, I love playing that game, but I'm not gonna go on that tangent.
Yeah. No, no, I hear you.
But I mean, that's just kind of how I feel about it, where it's like we don't really have that kind of security necessarily. Where it's like, yeah, she might hear people say, "Oh, it's fine," this kind of that, but like, I mean, there's like conventional attractiveness and there's like superficialness as well, and it's like the standards are completely different as opposed to like if you're in the Western world or in Europe, Asia, just like everywhere. Um,
Mm. Yeah,
I mean,
even
you all have
even
different
just at
preferences too.
even just at the sex level, yeah. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, both genders like there definitely is some level of fat shaming. Like for the man, it's like yeah, I want to look good for the woman, or and then maybe for the woman, it's like oh, I'm not as like thin as other women right now or something. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's definitely different standards for each. Yeah, like you're not expecting the woman to like buy a nice house and big and have it like fast cars and like I don't know, have a six-figure salary or something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Or
like, I mean,
these those are
it's
things
just
those are things
shallow.
like pop culture or like American like culture kind of pushes on men to have.
I mean, like that's like what you hear, but I
Yeah,
mean, like I don't know like how much true that is like in terms of reality. Like I'm not 100% on that because like of course there are people that like don't like
I mean,
wear jeans that.
if you look at social media and like I don't know if you ever walked into Southwest. It's like girls are into these kind of guys, you know, like the Vineyard Vines, boat shoes, and like I don't know, like what's that word? You're like, ah, I wish I understood words better.
Or just building up your. I mean, yeah, I mean, just building up your vocabulary definitely helps. But I think socializing is the best because, I mean, you can just like kind of catch on to how other people speak, and then you can just like use that to transform your own language. Which
That's
like,
why we're having a conversation.
no, I mean just
So
like
awesome,
how
so
you talk.
meta.
Like literally, just texting people have helped me like learn how to use emojis more properly. It's like, oh, like I don't know.
I
It's just all about like the
You
content.
brought up a gross subject for me,
Yeah.
texting.
I hate it. I hate
The
texting.
past few days, well, maybe like the past couple days were pretty good actually, but prior to that, the past few days were awful because I was just so immersed in texting, man. Like I don't like what don't you like about it? Let me hear.
Well, one, it's like really time consuming that like you can just kind of go hours and hours through it, and it's just like, oh my, like I don't know. Sometimes you don't know what like, especially if you're talking to someone who's very talkative too. Like it's kind of hard to push them to the side or just like, oh, like I gotta go, that kind of thing. Where it's like, because I don't know. Sometimes you don't want to come off as rude, but it depends really.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Probably the biggest problem for me is just feeling that I have to be too immersed in someone's life because there's all like those little symbols like, oh, their active status is on. Maybe they're looking at me right now, or they're not, or it doesn't really matter. Or did they read
that's
my?
over. Okay, that's just overthinking.
Did they?
That's just
No, no, no,
overthinking.
no, no, no. Let me go on.
Yeah.
Like whether they read your message or not too, and it's like, okay, they didn't bother to read my message, or maybe they did, and I'm just in their ignored sections or whatever. Um, um, I mean, that's just the parts of texting, but I have to, and then because it's texting, it's just like words. You have to like sometimes you read behind the lines too much. Like, what do they mean when they said that? Like, tone does not translate hardly ever in texting, and it's like you kind of wonder like what's your status with them right now? Like, are they annoyed when you said so and so, or like were they angry? It's like it's just so much better when you just talk to them in person. And I feel like if I had stopped making texting like the dominant part of my conversations, and just like talk to them like face to face or maybe even called them, like I wouldn't have that anxiety or paranoia issue anymore. Like I wouldn't feel like I'm like not doing so well or whatever. But honestly, at the end of the day, like
I mean, it's a
I
skill. It is a skill, really.
social interactions really, yeah, has a skill in general. Like also just spending less time with people though, like being away from them and just like appreciating their isolation. Like that's the big part of quarantine that I've actually really enjoyed, like my solitude, because like I feel like I've been getting too much input from like social media and like what other people are doing, and it's like I don't really need to know how people are doing right now or how much better or worse they're doing than me right now. I just like I gotta like hit that reset button because it's kind of like too much things going on
Mhm.
sometimes.
I mean, I think it's a healthy practice too, like knowing how to live in solitude and like being able to self motivate and being able to push yourself without like other people interfering or interacting. It's like I think that's like really important. I mean, it's difficult, I think too, especially for the long term, because of course, like you need kind of like short term, like I guess like goal. Like, I don't know. I'm not actually too sure, really.
No, no, absolutely. I don't think uh, for the long run, I think there's definitely a balance between your isolation and like interacting with people as well. Because like we can't live by ourselves all the time, obviously.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the way we are today is like based on who we've interacted with or like people that helped us get to where we are today. And it's like I don't know, it's kind of inconsiderate to think that like we can just keep going in this same momentum as if like on our own, like we're all ready to go all of a sudden. Like we're both pretty young guys. Eventually we're gonna like run into people that are gonna change our world.
Yeah. Lots. I mean,
I
there's lots of opportunities, and like especially if you have a car, you can just like drive around to different places, meet people. I mean, you can't sew as much like now, but like at least for me, what I've been doing is like sometimes I've been visiting friends or like cousins down like in Boston, like in Winthrop, who's like I think he's like 27 or 28. I actually like went to visit him for my birthday, and like he's kind of like took me out to like do stuff, and it was really fun. Honestly,
Mm.
it's like yay, 21, really finally made it. Yo, dude, I got oh I, I I felt so sick that day at the
What do you mean?
end. Okay, well, like I don't know. He just like showed me all the different kind of like shots you can take and like the different kinds of
Oh,
like that kind of stuff.
he's that kind
And
of
like
guy.
no, no,
He's
dude. Well, here's the thing. He's a very well.
I'm chalking him up right now. Obviously,
He
I'm just
no,
kidding.
no. He is a chill guy. He's really fun to hang out with. I mean, like successful, all that kind of stuff. Own place, just like I don't know. He's very fun to hang around with. And like we've been talking about like stocks as well, and like we kind of just like hit each other up if we like we find something that we want or not. Because like I have like an algorithm that we try to use, and then just like we just like use these different like methods and systems just to like earn
Hey
money
man,
and
have you
make
heard of the wheel strategy?
the wheel strategy. Have you heard the wheel strategy? Like promoted by Wall Street Bets. Let's go. um, but yeah, I mean it's fun. I mean I consider it fun. Uh,
You said it was your cousin.
yeah, yeah, Douglas. Douglas.
Shout out to Douglas.
Douglas. Yeah. No, he's awesome. Oh, no, I love him. He's awesome.
I'm not trying to pick on him. I like my roommate was the kind of guy that would like tell me, and honestly, my brother as well. Like the guy that would tell me like all the nuances and like nits and tricks about like drinking
Mhm.
culture, as if like it was like as if he was a professor, you know, like instilling knowledge onto me. Like I'm gonna use this knowledge down the road. Like my roommate did this. He was like, "Hey Brian, like you know what pull trig is?" I'm like, no, it's like, oh, so it's like when you throw up, you know, you force yourself to throw up. Like, oh, you're so badass, bro. You pulled trig. You're so cool, bro. People do that. Like,
Actually, he taught me similar things too, where
that's
it's
like
just
the
like
opposite. That's like the opposite of like badass, though. It's like, oh, I couldn't handle my liquor, so I better pull trig.
I mean, there's two options for it. Honestly, it's just like one where like if you're feeling sick, it's like either like lay down and breathe heavily and just like hope you fall asleep and wake up fine, and make sure to take like just like I mean drink a lot of water, of course. Maybe drink like not drink, maybe eat some like snacks just to like fill your stomach up to absorb everything, or like more or less. Or the second method is literally just take another shot and just like throw up from that, and like that makes you automatically feel a lot better
Interesting.
um for it. I took the first route because like I honestly don't like vomiting at all. Uh, it's
I don't
yeah.
like it either because I can't vomit properly. It always comes out of my nose too. Like it come
What?
it can never come out of just my mouth because I don't know why, but like my breathe I think it's like my breathing is wrong. Like it always like I don't know, it always shit's always coming out of my nose all the time. Like whenever I'm eating food and
Yeah.
I like it goes down the wrong hole and I go to like cough it up, it also comes out of my nose. So like there's like I'm eating rice and like grain of rice goes down the wrong hole. I cough it up, and it also comes out of my nose, and like it sprays everywhere, and everyone's disgusted by
Huh.
me.
I
It
mean, for
always comes out of my nose,
I mean, usually if I choke on water, sometimes it might come out of my nose. But no, not like that kind of extreme. Like, whoa.
dude. It's absolutely hell when I eat spicy food, and and I'm it's going down smoothly, and then I cough. And then it comes out of my nose. Two of my nostrils are burning, and I'm like, "Oh God!" And I'm crying. And it's like, why was I born like this?
Wait, actually,
It's like get
there is a
out of this
trick.
life.
There's actually a trick to prevent hiccups from like the method you're describing a bit. Where it's like if you have
Spicy food?
hiccups, right? Like a hiccup is just usually because you have like some kind of air pocket in you. I think that like, you're just trying to get out. But like if you try to burp or hiccup, it's I don't know how to describe it. It's like I just like it's just like a natural way to do it. But it's like when you're like just about to hiccup, you kind of just like open up like your I don't know, your airway a lot just to like try and get like all of it out at once. So then then immediately you just like stop hiccuping afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's like because every single time I feel like I've started having a hiccup, like while it's like I have one, the second one that comes by, I just like release more air than usual, and then
Uh-huh.
like all of a sudden it's gone, and I'm like, was that a hiccup? Was that like is it actually like a trick to like stop it? Like I don't know. It seems like it.
I've never been able to like force it out like that before. I've had so many like worst case scenarios where like the hiccup just goes back like down to my stomach and it's like, oh no, it's never coming back.
Oh.
It's gonna be a fart in like a few minutes.
It's gonna come out one way or the other. It's like you'll see.
Yeah, just don't come back up though, please.
That wouldn't be too great, honestly. Oh man.
I was a big farter in middle school. I still am. I don't know why I'm like making it sound like I've changed. I'm a new man.
I love the way you describe it. It's just like I've changed. Times have changed. It's just like pandemic, COVID, like new bride, new me. It's like
Same shit, different day.
same shit. Okay, that could actually be a quote. That's actually amazing.
No, that's a saying. Everyone
Is
says
it
it.
actually a
That's
saying?
that's
I've
a
never
real
heard of it.
that's a real saying. Same shit, different day.
Oh, so it's like break a leg, all that kind of stuff. That's the same thing.
Yeah, it's an expression people say.
Huh.
Like if you're doing the same routine all the time, like it's just a different day. You're doing the same thing over and over. Um,
Hmm.
could apply to anything like work. Like you work every day. It's just a different day. Um, I don't know. It's usually refers to something like monotonous and dull. It's not like dude, I like ride NASCARs like same shit, different day. It's like no. Do you like fart when you fart? Do you blame people or like you are you open with them? Do you just
No,
like
mine's the silent death where you don't hear it, but you do smell it like awfully. But
oh
like if you're in a room full of people, you have no idea where it comes from. So it's just like you don't need to say anything. And the person that might make a note of it, you just blame them. And then it's like you're the imposter, you're sus. It's like you.
do you have like the bubble like stuck between your cheeks? Like does it pop ever? Does it, you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I never talked about this with anybody before. Okay. I I mean,
I have to
usually it doesn't
slide it
happen.
out.
Like,
I have
yeah,
to
you
like
just kind
lean down to my chair
of.
and because if it's trapped between my like cheeks and the seat, it's gonna pop and everyone's gonna hear it. And then from silent death to like I don't know nuclear disaster, I
I
have to
guess I'm
like
just trying to
slide
find
out.
the balance where it just kind of pops the perfect size, where it's just like
Oh,
okay, like
oh yeah, it's not too loud.
there we go. Yeah, exactly.
Like a puff. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my man, that just reminds me. Like in high school, I would like if I have to use the bathroom, I would never go. Like I would wait until the end of the day, meaning that if I had to go to the bathroom and it was 7 a.m. and school just began, I would wait 8 hours through like would have to do tests, quizzes, whatever, until I got home and then I went. And it's just like
Lectures class was so important. I couldn't miss like 10 minutes of it because like if I came back, they'd be on a different material and I don't know. I'd have to ask like, oh, what happened when I was taking a shit? It's like oh, you missed the best. You missed the best part,
taking a
Julian.
piss, yeah. I mean, I guess that's where you go like during lunchtime usually, since you got a good like 30 minutes, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I just never like public restrooms or bathrooms or that kind of stuff. It's just like,
I don't think most people do.
mhm.
People that do are probably um, weird.
I mean, I'm the kind of person that stands behind a urinal and it takes like a minute until like a stream starts going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb.
Oh,
But I think that's just like overthinking, I guess. I don't know, because like, I'm just like thinking about it. It's like, please, just like
I can
let me
never
go.
I can never relate to shy peers. Like it just happens. I don't need to think about it.
Mhm.
I could take the middle in between two guys and like just streamline perfectly fine.
Like, oh, night. I could not do that. I'd be thinking too much. It's like I always want like a barrier and just some space and like
The
there
the,
we go.
cur- the courtesy is to be quiet though. If you're next to another guy, you gotta keep it quiet. Keep it to yourself.
Hmm. It's like no talking exactly.
Yeah.
It's like face forward, no talking, just do your business and like there we
hmm
go.
That's the guy code. You don't talk about stuff. All right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
But
like
with
for me too,
girls, you have
it's
to talk about everything.
going groups into the bathrooms. Nah, but like when I if I ever like go hiking or walk on a trail, I also like have a difficult time like just peeing behind a bush or like a tree. It's like I just can't do it. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Probably it's just like the fear of like someone else walking by or like there's a lot of like mosquitoes going around you. It's like no, go away.
Dude, once I start, I can't. I can't stop. It just has to keep going.
This is such a dumb conversation. Oh my god.
Sorry. I know I wanted to talk to you about like more important subjects, but like I could probably chop like a whole like half out of this, and like
No, dude,
that
unabridged, unfiltered. Wait, do you actually edit your stuff?
sometimes at the beginning when like it's kind of that's kind of like I start small talk. The small talk goes for a long. This small talk has been going for a while, but like for getting the small talk, it's not always like transition smoothly. Like it starts like kind of dull, like hey, how you doing, and then the steam starts to roll out, and I cut out the little bits at the end when it's
Oh,
just
that's cool.
like the little bits that's just like, hey, can you hear me? Like, is your mic working? Okay, like I'm not gonna keep that in, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Just like the small, hey, quality production. That's exactly what you need.
It's not crazy editing though. I just like snip a little bit at the end. That's all. Mm-hmm.
No, that's helpful.
But sometimes I do shut around for like the whole episode, though. It doesn't really matter. It's like just a conversation with someone. We'll get to it when we get to it. um, but yeah, I've been thinking lately about Taoism. I think it's pronounced Taoism.
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 How is it spelled? Like
T
THAO?
T T A O I S M.
Well, what is that?
Um, that's a that is a loaded question because the whole point of Taoism is like you don't really know what the Tao is. Tao. That's
Uh-huh.
Tao is kind of like the universe, so to speak. It's like just the
Wait,
way
isn't that
the
like a mathematical symbol? Tao, like it's a
the yin yang,
no, not
because they use it to refer to Taoism a lot. I don't know why, but
uh-huh.
it's really hard to put Taoism into words because it's very much an experience. It's not like a knowledge. Like it's not a bank of knowledge a professor could just spew to you. It's something you have to live and like immerse yourself in. Like you have to be the Tao, you know. Like you can't just accumulate this knowledge and use it.
Wait, so is it like Buddhism?
Buddhism, Buddhism refers is based on, I think, hopefully I don't get this wrong. It's like based on the idea that like you kind of detach yourself from the world, because like I don't know, like the world has like its flaws and strengths, and you kind of like in order to find peace, you kind of separate yourself from all that. Whereas in Taoism, you're like you're a part of the world, you know. You just have to you can't like try to manipulate it though, you know. Like some things are in your control, so you just kind of go with it. Like let's say the friends in life, you can't really choose who your friends are. You just kind of make them, and
That is yeah. I do agree with that because like I've never like ever gone out like socializing and that kind of stuff and like thinking like I'm gonna make you my friend. It's like that's not the mentality I go into at all. It's just like I talk to you if we exchange like snaps or like something like that, then okay we do. And then if we're like still talking and like we just want to do stuff, then like it just goes. It's just a flow.
yeah,
Um,
and the whole I think like a big outcome for Taoism is like you can be happy in a world where things don't things don't work out the way you want them to. You know, it's like so much is out of your control, but you kind of accept things. But also, I don't know how to. I honestly can't perfectly capture Taoism because I'm still learning more about it. I'm reading this book called The Tao of Pooh. It's it's about like it's like trying to teach you about Taoism through Winnie the Pooh, because like Winnie the Pooh is a character that's like, you know, based on society is very ignorant, and he doesn't really understand like like all the nitty gritties. Like he doesn't know tough words, and he's not like super smart, but
mhm.
he can he can like appreciate like I don't know, not thinking too hard about things. You know, the simple things in life, really. Like imagine like I don't know, say for you, like when you went into computer science, did you think very hard about how difficult the field was and all the nuances, or
I just knew.
you just felt this, you know, like I don't know.
I mean, like I've enjoyed programming since middle school, and I just like doing it. So like to me, I just see it as a hobby rather than actual work. I mean, of course, some of like the assignments they give us like is just dumb, and like the things like we need to like computer science, like CS 250 and CS 311, like the two like hardest courses of like the computer science track. Like a lot of stuff is kind of it's more like mathematical theory and like a lot of proofs, which is like stuff that I don't enjoy like as much doing. But I guess just having that kind of knowledge does help. Where like if you are creating an algorithm or like using an algorithm that you learned from someone else, like you just better know how to apply it rather than just like building a simple calculator of like, oh, what's 2 plus 2, and like I don't know, I guess that just helps make things more complex. Like when you need like a very like foundational structure or just like a strong foundation.
Hmm.
I think that's like what like the academic part is like what's really helpful for it. Because like me, I could like I feel like I could program like something like if someone needs like if like a client needs me to like program some database or like he wants a website or that kind of stuff, I could definitely do it. But like how good it would be, I'm not too sure. Like I mean, it's going to be fully functional. It's going to work. I mean, it's not going to have much security in it because I don't know too much about like hash tables and like encryption yet. But like you can just learn. The nice thing about computer science is that you can. It's free basically. Every programming language like Java, C++, like all the IDEs are free. You can just program for free. The tutorials like you can find for free. There are books you can just like look up that like or just PDF files to like browse and search. Like there's just so much like content online to learn computer science, and you can just like do it from your computer that it just makes it so versatile. I feel actually I thought about this before too, where like I was choosing between computer science and engineering, or like computer engineering, electrical engineering, that kind of thing. And it's like, if I ever wanted to make my own independent business or that kind of thing, I'd rather do computer science because at least there's not much like risk you're taking other than time. Because like you're not gonna have to like buy like tools or equipment if you were to be like as opposed like if you were to be an engineer, that's what you would have to do. And if you mess up, if you make a mistake, then like that just you just waste a lot of resources. But if you make a mistake in computer science, like the worst you can do, I think, is you lose data. That's the worst you can do. Where you overwrite a file and it's like, oh shit, you just lost like something. But I mean, you have GitHub repositories. You have stuff you can just upload online, so you can just retrieve it if you do happen to lose it. And it's just, I don't know. I just think it just simplifies the process a lot. And I'm the kind of person that really wants to like if I get focused on something, I can work on it for like hours on end and just like keep just doing it over and over again, and it's like until I find the right answer. Like I tend to not get frustrated if I don't understand something, unless maybe it takes me like a month or two to figure out what. Just like if it's impossible, then of course it becomes frustrating.
Hmm.
Um, like actually, this kind of actually reminds me. I remember once I was trying to create a game for high school, a mobile like game. Actually, I think I still have it on my phone. I could actually maybe show it.
Wait, is this like the disease game or something?
No, no, my vaccine. No, I never actually finished that really.
Uh,
Uh, it's because like there was a lot of like artwork stuff which like I don't enjoy like drawing, and I don't have like Photoshop or that kind of stuff, which obviously will make it a bit more difficult. But yeah, I might have it still. Not 100% sure. Oh yeah, my games. Oh yeah, Game Overdrive. Yeah, actually I do have it still. I wish I could actually like stream it on here, but whatever. So this is. Oh man, it's gonna be like hard to actually like see that kind of thing. But okay, here's like the premise. Oh, actually, let me just lower my brightness. I think that might like help. Because like this is a problem that like I encounter while programming this thing, and like I don't think it's like necessarily impossible to solve, but you might need like AI algorithms to like really do it. So it's like yeah, the screen is like still too bright. Let me just lower that one more time. Maybe this works now. Yeah, kind of.
that's great. Yeah.
So like you start off like so you see this like red blob that I'm moving around. You
Hmm.
notice how like it trails behind my finger. Like that's like a latency issue because I want the blob to be where my finger is as I'm moving it. So like I've tried to write a few like algorithms where it's like okay, I use calculus to determine like how far does my finger move each step, and so it just predicts like where my finger's going to be in the next frame. So like it's going to be in the position where my finger's going to be even though it's not even there yet. And like that kind of works, but it makes the like I guess the ball more like jittery and like moves around too much. So, but if you used AI, I believe it might be able to like check the data of like where your finger is moving, so it might be able to predict like where you're moving next. Because when you're playing that game, you're not allowed to move your finger off the screen. I mean, that's not like you can just like tap to another location because like it's impossible to like predict where you're gonna tap. But um, if you're just like moving it around with your finger, it can predict where you go, and like because it's impossible to instantaneously stop your finger like from moving around, because like there's always gonna be like some kind of like time like between like the frames, but like I think it's possible as all. Or just get better hardware. I mean, that's like also an alternate solution. But like that's an engineering problem, and like that's like not what I want to do.
Mm. Do you want to make apps? Like, why did you make this app?
Oh no, I was just experimenting with just different like game engine programs like Unity, Unreal Engine, Game Maker Studio. And like I've made like a few demos in each. Okay, well, I haven't experimented a lot with like Unreal Engine, but like the other ones I've made like a few like app games. Both like I've actually completed one on my computer, which was like actually pretty fun. I actually have like a YouTube video uploaded
Oh,
to that like demonstrates it. It's called like the Singularity, but I forget what the title was completely. It's just the game's called the Singularity, but uh what was the full title? An evolutionary. Oh no, I don't
do you
know.
have a favorite part about programming or like
Favorite
AI?
part. It's like, I mean, I just love how it can solve problems for you. Or like
Okay.
with AI, you can train a data set, and then you can just test it on a different data set to like maybe like solve like the problems for you. Like actually, I'm taking a class right now, CS490A, which does natural language processing, which just means that I'm able to like take text and be able to interpret its sentimentality, like its sentiment. I mean, that like if someone says like, "Oh, I love video games," it's a positive sentiment, and the computer's going to be able to return that information to me just based on like the sentence alone. And like
Mm.
I think that's like really cool. And there's actually this YouTube channel called 2 Minute Papers, which like documents like so many research papers on like AI and has like beautiful just demonstrations and illustrations, and like it's really cool like what you can do with it. Like because I mean like uh like I think it's called deep fakes or something like that, where
It
like you can
sounds
put like
familiar.
or I I forget like what the actual term is, because I remember like reading somewhere about it. I think it was like I don't know, but like you're technically you can just like put your face on like someone else's, and it can be like like Nicolas Cage. That's the one I saw. Nicolas Cage, where like
Oh yeah, it's called Deepface.
is deepfakes. Yeah,
Uh
it's
huh.
it's insane. Like how you can put someone's face on like someone else's, and like
I
in
heard people talking about this before. Yeah.
yeah. And I just like I don't know. I mean, the reason I like computer science so much is because it's so much about innovation and like what you can do and like to create new things. Because
Mm.
like the reason why I never want to become something like
Dude,
I don't know,
they're gonna use this to slam someone's camp.
yeah,
What's
incriminate
that?
that kind of stuff.
What's it called? A slam campaign or something? Slur trash campaign.
Like what you mean, like canceling someone or
Yeah, kind of. Gosh,
wait, is this like
I have this on my notes. A list of tough words. Smear campaign. Smear.
smear can?
Sorry.
Schmear or smear?
I say smear because it's fun to add like sh to stuff.
Shit. Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Sorry, I got sidetracked. You were talking about Deepface more though.
Well, I mean, I don't like know too much about it. It's just like just the reason I like computer science is because like it's all about innovation. You can just do everything from like the comfort of your own home. It's like it's
Mm.
insane, really. And you can just like communicate with like wherever people you can be part of like Discord groups. So that stuff, just like creating a project, um, like this actually can go back to like the topic of Minecraft again, where like so you've downloaded Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
Like you have the game. You know like the home screen, like the background.
Yeah.
Like people have actually found the seed ID for that background just by analyzing like the block placement and all that, and just like
What's
using like
a seed ID?
it's so whenever you generate a world in Minecraft, it has like a random seed for like the placement of the blocks and everything. So that's why every world is
Oh,
different. It's based on like wherever the seed is itself,
huh.
and so like the numbers of the seed correlate to like how the world is
How
generated.
can they tell which is the seed then? Just from
Oh
the
no, because like they
backdrop.
um like there's like a lot of different factors that they account for. Like with like the placement of the blocks and like just like the way the clouds move in the sky, like at the rate or like the kind of the transformations, because like there's like just certain things. Like I actually not
That's
even too sure
crazy.
myself really. It's just like all these different variables that they notice and consider, and then like they're able to like minimize the number of possible seeds, and then like it's really cool.
That's
It's
another level of like appreciation that like those people like that. I don't know, like people who are crazy musicians or like mathematicians, like they care about like things most people wouldn't care about, or like people that read. I know a guy. who I worked in the lab with who just enjoyed reading DNA all day. I popped my head in his office. I was like, hey, what are you up to? And it's like going through his MacBook, and it's like lists and lists of like just like the
Oh,
GCA.
GCATT, just
Yeah,
like
it just
constantly.
goes on and on. I'm like, does that mean anything to you? It's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I could never do
What?
that,
I
but
mean, maybe he knows like certain sequences where it's like, I
perhaps
mean, I
it's
guess I guess
it
like
does
that.
it. Yeah, I try not to like overblow like how and how overblow like talented people are, but at the same time though, like people do some pretty incredible stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. I mean,
What
but with
what?
computer science, you can have it like done for you though, kind of like, I mean, you can literally just program like, I don't know, like, I mean, have you seen Mari IO?
No, I know what
It's
that
like
is.
someone programmed a genetic algorithm to play Super Mario World for them, and it would like learn like to get to the end of the level
Oh
by
wow.
itself, and like it can just like I assume he made it like complete the game too, but it's just I don't know, it's so cool, really.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's like, but I mean, that's why I always like think like I want to be in a field that's like the future kind of thing, or that's able to
Hmm.
like really make changes to modern like the modern world. And I mean, I guess like my ultimate like fever dream goal really is just being able to create some kind of like virtual reality where you can just like have life the way you want it almost, where it's just like everything's perfect. It's like if you go to sleep, like you can just induce this virtual world where like you can just lucid dream is like how like you want it to be, and then like sure you can still like have aspirations of life and that kind of stuff, but like if you're just unhappy about like not having something, you could just like literally enter this other world where you just like have everything, and it's like it's I mean, I don't know like how mentally healthy that is necessarily, since like you might be always like living in the past, always like thinking of like oh, what you wish you had, you might become like obsessed with it, only like want to live like in that kind of world. But like I don't know, I think if you just do it in moderation, at least like it just adds another like kind of excitement to life, because like doing anything too much, of course, is like not good.
Yeah, this goes a little bit back to what I was saying earlier about um like do you think about like all the flaws or like all the problems that like the difficulties that go into like the field. Like I could never see myself like pushing that hard into computer science because like ethics always comes into my mind, like is this even right for me, is this even like helping anyone, or like I mean, this isn't just computer science really, just anything in general, like any field. Like I like think about statistics and I find like one flaw in the field at all, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is pointless now.
Wait, so
Um,
can you give me an example of like flaws that you like? So what's a flaw in statistics? I guess.
um, say like you're a statistician for like for any client. It was a statistic. 86 or 87% of all statisticians that like uh, pick up a project for a client, they fail to meet like the client's they fail to like complete
Expectations.
not just expectations but like complete the job really,
Oh,
because it's so difficult because a lot of the times it's like the client doesn't really know what they want, and as a statistician, you either have to like build up the database or like they give you what they have, and like it's very ambiguous. Also, like some of the techniques even used in statistics currently, like they're kind of, some of them are archaic, like the p-value test. It's kind of still up to debate whether it's even like useful or not, because I could even bring this into like medical science. There this British journal, like this news site or something, they posted an article about how more than, or maybe like roughly half of all the trials, like clinical trials that were produced in like London, or like just I think in Europe really, it was like half of them are were not reliable because they weren't done like multiple times. They were just done once, and
oh,
so like it really decredits discredits like all that work. Because, and here's the biggest problem, like you don't know which half it is though. Like so many people try to do they try to cut corners and just to maybe meet a PhD or like make it easier for them, and they don't try to do good science, and it ends up like falling into the batch. And you could, I don't, maybe it'd be cool if there'd be some AI that could, I don't know if there that could, because like every lab,
I
everything
mean,
is
like
so nuanced.
AI itself like isn't perfect. Like it's very subjective too, because like I mean, like, self-driving cars, right?
Yeah.
It's like the reason like that's such a problem is because sometimes like a car might get into a situation where you have to actually consider like what's like ethically right or ethically moral. Where it's like like the whole example of like people crossing the street. It's like okay, like you have two decisions. Like do you do you like just keep driving through them or like to protect the driver, or do you swerve to the right to the side where you might crash into something and might injure the driver? So it's just like
Ooh.
it's like I think right now they've chosen like of course to protect the driver because the driver's the one that like bought the car, but like it's I don't know, it's like just those kind of dilemmas where like I mean of course they're gonna try as much as possible to prevent that situation entirely so they don't even like need it. But like of course some things like are just gonna happen or like are inevitable where like you just get in a situation where you can't do anything. So it's just like uh yeah.
I think a decent compromise, I'd say, like for me personally, is like I know I want to like pursue a certain career because like there are strengths in it and there are like virtues in going into something like like you said already with computer science, like you can fix problems. Um, and if that's the end goal, then then that like then the flaws in the system itself shouldn't bog you down because if you ever run into them, you're gonna I don't know really like you just kind of reset and like because you don't want to get lost in it, like I know I do you ever watch the Social Dilemma? That it's on Netflix about like how so many people that work for Facebook and Google and whatever, like all these like software engineers, they go into it to help people,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of become part of the problem because they they kind of like they endorse or like they all their work goes into like making the system more like manipulative to like in terms of like manipulating what people think or like in politics too and like so many people pulled out of it or I don't know how many people like pulled out actually but like they did like interviews of that stuff. It's weird, like I want to go into something but I do want to be careful of like not falling into the trap of like what did I did this for a purpose, like I came in here with a certain goal and has my goal like changed in any way or differed, and like do I need to sit back at some point and think like am I doing the right thing, and that's like been hard for me to find a job like that I want to do because sometimes it's um like I want to go into something and like all these like all these obstacles I'm going to run into or like they just kind of distract me for all, so I feel like I need to I don't know be more simple minded and just like not think too hard about the end goal perhaps.
I mean, I kind of see it as like in layers almost, where like I first just want to be financially stable, like well, like with a a stable source because like right now like Robinhood like the stock market like yeah you can become like financially like independent from that, but it's always like betting on stuff and like you just win like you can win a lot, but you can also like lose a good amount and like all of it could be gone too. Like you just never know if there's another crash.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like financial stability is like yeah, I mean I just want to get a job where that I can kind of live my life comfortably and like kind of do what I want without having to worry about money. And then after that, I kind of want to pursue kind of goals or dreams where it's like, okay, now I can like just do the next step where it's like if I'm not happy at the job as much, like but I have enough money like saved where I can just like kind of do what I want. Um, then I can just like go for a job that, like, or a research position that like might not pay as well, but like I really enjoy doing it, and it's like something that like I want to continue doing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's kind of like my like thought process on it, which is like kind of like one. It's just it's really just one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you don't want to like overthink or just be overwhelmed by too many things.
Yeah.
But it's like I mean yeah, it is really difficult too to like at least as a computer science student. I mean a lot of my friends have been applying to like internships, jobs, that kind of stuff, and just like there's just like constant rejection. Like even though like even if like their GPA is insane, even though like they have an amazing work ethic or like practiced a lot, done a bunch of interviews, done a bunch of like leak code questions, like still it's a very competitive environment and like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's honestly like I feel like yes, your knowledge is important, like how much you know the job, but I think like the social connections you have is like kind of a little bit more important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just was just gonna say like And I just think it's kind of unfortunate, like how that kind of is. Like, because for me, I mean, I love study. Like, okay, I don't love studying. I like programming and I like trying to figure stuff out. I do enjoy it, but like I kind of feel deterred from doing that when I know that, oh, if I like worked on my LinkedIn profile and just made connections and like I could more likely get a job that way than just like studying like 3 or 4 hours every day, like in small like segments and like just getting really good at it. Because like if you don't have good social skills, then like you're not really like gonna get too far, and like it
Mm,
sucks. It definitely sucks. Like I mean, I have a cousin that lives in Texas, who um actually, I'm not too sure like how much I want to talk about that really.
yeah,
Uh,
so,
but he just yeah, I mean yeah, no, he just like has difficulty sometimes with like it's like I guess maybe socializing and that kind of thing. I mean, like, I mean, he does have like a great job right now, like amazing. Like he's just climbing the rankings like so quickly because like he's so good at it. But it's also like he definitely feels like a bit limited due to his social skills. That was like a little bit more difficult because like yeah, just like with like autism and like that kind of stuff where like it gets it's just difficult.
that
It just makes
definitely seems hard. Oh, I don't know about that. Like in that particular scenario, I just know in general, like the stereotype is like, the experience of the experiences for most computer sciences is that their upbringing and background is, in front of a computer a lot of the time, and
kind of
less so maybe time interacting. And this is obviously generalizing because I know like computer scientists that like computer science students that like started picking it up honestly and like later in their career, and like have great social skills. But like I don't know, those people that like look at the screen all the time and they get a lot of experience in like literacy with how computers work. And you know I'm not sure if you need to have that level of depth with a computer to like because I don't know, a lot of young people start off that way, like learning. Like the best way to learn is like start young, and that's like how it best gets in your head. But
but I just think the mentality of like constant like I mean I actually saw this on Zoom memes for quarantines.
oh god,
Um like
I
so someone made a statement saying like how ridiculous it is that like we all have like the expectation to constantly like work ourselves almost like well just like constantly trying to self improve, just like trying to get better at something, trying to compete, trying to like just better ourselves like every single day, which is a good thing. But I feel like a lot of us just like focus too much on like what's the next thing, then like of course like enjoying the moment and like just being
mhm.
happy. I mean I know that's been said like so many times, but it's just I mean I feel like it's definitely true where like
It's not said enough, honestly. I
like, I mean,
feel I feel
I
you.
yeah, it's because when I'm thinking of like my high school days at least, where like, yeah, I mean, I guess I was like maybe part of one or two clubs like doing robotics and like a programming thing, but like a lot of times all I would do is like go home at like 3 p.m., binge on food for 2 hours till 5 p.m., sleep till 1 a.m., do my homework till 6 a.m., and then just like go back to school. And like that was just like basically my daily schedule. And it's like there was very rare socializing. Like, I mean, I had like a nice friend group where like we would sometimes go to Smash tournaments or we just like hang out on Fridays and just like eat Domino's pizza. Like, well, and of course, like we would get 3 boxes now, eat an entire box now, just be like on the floor, just like lethargic, just like like just completely out of it. But I mean, yeah, those are like high school memory highlights. Like, that's like pretty much what I've done.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes the career, I guess, can like merge with your social life. Um, and I don't know. Do you ever see yourself like pursuing? We talked about this before when we first called, like a while ago, about like, do you ever see yourself pursuing a career like to the fullest? For the purest form of computer science. Like spending less time engaging with like friends and family, and just like making trying to better yourself in the career as much as possible, like like getting so good at it to fix bigger and bigger problems. Like do you ever see yourself getting like I don't know what the right word is, like maybe I don't know about consumed, like just doing it for the sake of doing it, for nothing else, not for fame, for money, or um, we like mentioned people like who do like pursue things for the art of it,
like
and they
the
do
thing
some awesome stuff.
like for me, I guess like I'm a bit unsure myself because it's like doing that would actually make me like really happy. Like it would make
Okay.
me like pure like it would make me completely content. But I have like a lot of fear, like in terms of like missing out on things and like other experiences in life and like other like avenues and like that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I would be happy and content just doing that, but like I would always have something in the back of my mind where it's just like I could be like hanging out with friends or I could be doing this with like someone else, and it's just like those kind of thoughts where like if I'm in my 40s or 50s and like I would assume I'd be like really successful and like well off if like all I did was focus on computer science because like I mean when I would talk to people it would just be because of computer science. And like sure you can socialize and maybe like build relationships that way too, but like I just feel like I would miss out too much and stuff that like sure I might not enjoy to the fullest, but it's like I want to at least kind of do them and just like see what it's like and just like n- and still and because a lot of times for me memories are so much better than the experiences themselves. I think that a lot.
Yeah,
Well, at least
you've definitely nailed that down, nailed that, or like really pushed that message a lot before when I've talked to you about like memories are more important to you than the experiences.
I mean that's like what I because like at least with memories like I don't know, that's yeah, I feel like the memory itself is better than the experience because like at least for me, like I have a hard time actually enjoying the moment with stuff. Like I mean that could just be like a me thing too, where it's just like, yeah, I mean I could like maybe have fun, chill, that kind of thing. But like I am nervous of like what's like if you go to like a party or that kind of thing, it's just like, okay, what's gonna happen? You know, like yeah, it's exciting, but it's also kind of nerve wracking. But like when you just like think about it afterwards, we're like, oh if think like you do have fun or that kind of thing, like the memory is so much better because like that's what happened and like that's what was fun. And of course like
Is your favorite part in life maybe like when you're like when you've hit past your prime already, you look past like all your achievements and like all those different, you know,
I
engagements you've
definitely wanna live
had.
with, like I wanna live with no regrets, like, definitely, of just, like, okay, I've tried, like and when I say, like, I've tried doing things or, like, I've had experiences, like, kind of like, I wanna, like, actually be fully convinced to myself that I've actually, like, tried and done as much as I could because, like, I don't wanna look back and just think, "Wow, I've wasted, like, countless hours just, like, doing nothing, just, like, laying in bed," or, like, I don't know, just, like, binging on YouTube videos for hours and just, like I don't wanna, like, think or see like that, I wanna be able to, like, do stuff and, I don't know, just like to be happy with like how much I've done. So like when I'm like less mobile, when I'm like not as like young, then I can actually just be happy with like, you know what, like I'm satisfied with it and
Mm.
but I mean I want it to be like legitimate though because like I know a lot of people like there's actually a survey done where like they asked all the people to ask if they were kind of like maybe not satisfied or content with life, but it's like older people generally are happier because like they're kind of happy with like they're happy to like look back and like how things were. But I feel like some of them kind of lie to themselves a bit too, where it's like they just try to cope with an idea of like what they think is good. But like I don't want to cope. I want to actually like really like be certain that like yes, I've done the things I want to do and just like be happy with that. But like that's just kind of like what I want. Because like easily right now I could just think of the past experiences I've had and be like satisfied and be like yep it was pretty good that kind of thing and just like chill from here on then but like I mean why would I do that like really it's like I don't know you can still like do more things.
Mm.
um
I think about those. I think about those adults you mentioned that like maybe they're coping and they're trying to say that um, they're satisfied with life. But
mhm.
I was listening. I was listening to House. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just gonna say like I mean coping mechanisms are good because it does make you feel better. Like I mean because like it's all about the emotion of like how you are, but like it doesn't actually solve the issue
Yeah, yeah,
though.
no,
It's
of
like how I
course.
see it.
Because
It's
I
like
was gonna say like I was listening to someone talk about like what they saw at a nursing home was like, and like all these old people, you know, in their like 70s and 80s and so on, like how much regret is in their eyes, like death is like knocking at their door, and they realize how much they haven't accomplished with their lives. And I wonder if like those people you're talking about, like at that stage, maybe they're going through that middle life crisis, so to speak, you know, where they feel like they're kind of in denial with like the transition and like they're trying to find some defense mechanism. But yeah, like I feel like when you hit that age, like you're gonna die, okay, and you got to realize like, oh, maybe I didn't do it as much as my life as I planned to, or like I
but
didn't
of course
pursue
you don't want to
things.
like think that way either. Like
Obviously, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
That's like a that is like a very like
like
tough
that's what
end
yeah.
of life, though. Yeah.
'Cause I just like don't want to lie because I mean because like the majority of us honestly are like not going to do anything significant with our lives really. Like yes, you will affect others, you like help others, and I kind of like the majority of us won't make like a huge impact like whatsoever, or like won't. But it depends like what your goals are. But like
Even if you think you're at the top of the world right now, I don't think you even are gonna like make a difference in the long term of things. Yeah.
sure maybe.
Yeah.
Man, it depends like what kind of legacy I guess you can like leave behind.
Julian's thinking about like blowing up the earth or something.
No, no.
I'll make a difference.
Oh my god! Oh my, you guys will see. It's like,
I showed you guys.
that's dumb. That's dumb.
No, man, I yeah, I wish it must be like there's like that you run the risk, that trap of being narrow-minded when you choose to pursue something in its purest form, definitely, and without experiencing, like what having kids are like, or having a family, and something simpler than that, even like just not even like choosing a strict career, really. I don't know.
I mean, like we're in our early 20s right now. Like, because I definitely want to like watch this video like a decade from now just to see like where I was then and like where I'm like. So what do you hope to be like in 10 years? I guess like.
Gosh, man, I'm not sure. I'm still in the ambiguous end. I know you asked me this question before about like why I pursue marine biology, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a good answer for you because like honestly, the truth of the matter is like I just find fish interesting. Really, like I it's kind of like Skittles. Like, oh, you got a green one, you got a blue one. Wait,
That's good.
there's no blue Skittles. Jelly beans. That's a better
Uh-huh.
example.
I mean, but you don't need like an explanation for liking something. It's like you just like it. You.
Yeah,
I mean, like
sometimes it comes down to that, and I just find them entertaining in ways like I can't even explain. Like I find the like the ocean, like maybe even more so the deep sea, so cool. Like I wanna go in a submarine and like look at all the cool shit down there.
yeah.
Like it's just like such a cool mystery. It's like so mysterious to me. I'm not that guy that's like, oh, the ocean's so valuable to us as a resource, and like we need to save it. And it's like, no, I'm not that kind of guy. The ocean's a big boy. It can take care of itself. We're gonna be gone as a species in like maybe less than 30 years. The ocean's gonna be
I was
fine.
like,
Ocean's gonna be fine, guys. Like
oh, that is that could be a potential future too. Like global warming, all that kind of stuff. It's like, hey, all our ambitions, dreams, goals, like doesn't really matter. Not like,
yeah,
uh,
dude, just enjoy looking at those sharks in the aquarium for now, man. Like, let's not worry about saving the shark. Let's worry about like surviving as a species. But I don't. Yeah, it's I don't know. I love going to aquariums. I love like the guy asked me if I want to pet the skates or something, and I'm like, yes. So cool, so fun. I'm kind of like a child. I just kind of like uh, oh, the colors. It's honestly I can't even put it. Yeah, like you said, I really can't put it into words. It's like it's more of an experience than like a thing I could really say. Wow, like
uh-huh.
I couldn't capture everything into words really, but um
I mean, it is kind of good that like you don't really have a checklist necessarily either because like I mean, I guess this is kind of like talk like how we talked before about like do we live with regrets or not? But like the only reason you would live with regrets is because like you didn't do things that you wanted to do. But like if you sincerely and genuinely like didn't want to do stuff or like you really felt that way, I mean yeah, you can like be happy by that. But like you got to make sure like you're genuine about
yeah,
that. Like,
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want like you don't want to be like you don't want to live through like fear or
People,
be dictated
yeah,
by that.
I think a lot of people well, maybe my definitions of meaning in life might is probably different from yours. Maybe like
Hmm.
mine's is maybe a little more loose ended. Like I mean, we could probably hash it out, but like for me, it's just I feel like life is about having responsibilities to people. Like I feel like I have responsibility to my family, like responsibility to friends, like just to be a better, like to be a more genuine and good person to them. Because um, I don't know. It just seems like a. I feel like it's everyone's duty just to be like not a shitty person to each other, and like you see people maybe younger or older than you who didn't like learn that, like they're just shitty people to people, and you kind of just gotta. I don't know. You either interact with them or not. I would say interact with them. Uh, that's just one thing, really. Also, just another part of life for me is just like the simple things, like maybe like having kids and a family and raising and then die, like take a good shit every once in a while. But like that's life doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be so grandiose. For some people it is though. Like sometimes I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you if like building towards something amazing. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's really up to how you feel about how you're doing. yeah, I know people that like don't have any ambitions at all though. Like life is without ambitions, and they kind of tell themselves like it's fine, I'm just gonna go with the flow, you know, like I don't need to do anything in life. But I feel like people like that kind of lie to themselves, you know, like there's something you have to do in life, you know. And if you kind of ignore that, like your drive, you know, to like maybe put food on the table even, or even to get out of bed, like you get depressed that way, you know. If you don't do anything at all with your life, you're gonna feel like that sense of meaningless, you know. I know people like that who are currently in my like everyday life, and they just all they do is play games all day, and like I don't know, they don't pursue like something sustainable, um, like for themselves or others, and it's just the same day in day out routine. There's no upward momentum at all, and I think that's how a lot of people get sad with their lives, and that's when the regret comes in because they didn't do anything like meaningful. Um,
I mean, it's really difficult to be certain about things, I think.
that's fair too, I guess.
It's like, I mean, I feel like some of us, well, I think we kind of do know what we want, but at the same time, not really too. Because it just depends like how you get there as well. Because I feel like I'm trying to think of an example, I guess, where it's like I kind of care about like the journey to getting to like what my goals are than just like having it in and like, of itself. Um, yeah, that's probably like, the best way I can phrase it. Because yeah, example wise, I'm not like too sure like how that can be applied really.
I wanted to share this at some point, but like I can't find like a relevant time to throw it in. I was reading. You ever read? I've read a book called The Book of Five Rings. It's by Musashi Miyamoto. You know, he's like the greatest samurai, renowned samurai of all time, and
Hmm.
like he lives that life of purity. You know, like the sword is life and strategy, and like he's worked it to the purest form. You know, and he was, I think at some point in his life he was considering like picking up a wife, but he just chose the love of like swordsmanship over the love of a woman. And like you read his book and he's so like into it, you know. um, there's a part in the book where he's like if you think about if you think about stabbing a man in the face, you have to do it with the intention of stabbing him in the face. Like you need to be fully in it, your mind, like no what is it, like no regret, like be calculated and like determined to stab that man in the face. Like I don't know, like me as someone who like is outside of that, like not immersed in the art of swordsmanship, I'm like, oh well, what if that man is like, you know, has kids, and I don't know, it's gonna it's gonna be gross and it's gonna be gruesome, and it's like no, you like you need to, I don't know, it's like a whole philosophy, that I can't exactly wrap my head around. It's so, I feel like you have to throw yourself into the art itself to really know what it means to like kill someone and to end someone's life. Because like most of most of what we do probably doesn't have to deal with like that kind of art. But I honestly don't understand most like crazy musicians out there, like like getting inside an artist's head, really, like trying to understand the way their mind works. Like sometimes they're all crazy, and it's like I don't know how you produce this kind of stuff.
It's
Like
like, where do they get these ideas from? I mean, that's how I feel about artists, honestly. It's like, how do you draw something just like so like well, and like getting all like the shapes, the geometry, but like at the same time have your own kind of art style with it too. It's like, I think it just looks amazing, really.
mhm.
Um,
I think I'm really impressed by like artworks that really go out of the norm, or like I don't know.
what do you mean? Like, oh, you have like a red line. There's
No,
like
no,
whoa
no,
art,
no.
like out of the wall,
I
man.
never. I am. I
two
don't.
million
I
dollars.
as an artist myself, I don't endorse that kind of
Don't
art.
endorse. Like, it's just a money laundering scheme.
$10 million. No, like I don't know. People that bring energy and emotions into the art, like even through music as well. Like when you listen to a song that like you can tell this, like the way Jimi Hendrix plays a guitar is like no one else. You know it's him playing that guitar. No one else can play it like him, and you can like I don't know, just sense like how much time and effort he's put into it because he's so good at it. And the way he plays the riffs, like he doesn't like rock and roll. They don't use too many different chords, but when he's playing a chord, he's gonna play it in like 10 different ways every single time, and it's like okay, it's super chaotic, but that's just the way he is.
Wait, what's it called? Like when you play in the guitar and like you hold a chord, but you kind of like move it back and forth. It's like a rift, or
Oh,
like
that thing.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
What is that?
I always see that, and I like always imitate it with my hand when
What's
I'm
it like?
like air guitar, but I have no idea what that is. I'm not a musician, but I uh I like I don't know too much about guitars though. Like
Mhm.
yeah.
No, neither. I mean, I used to play the guitar in second, third grade, I think.
Yeah.
But then when I went to middle school, they didn't have that anymore, and I'm like, I just joined recorder club, and I'm like, this is dumb.
Wait,
And
what
then
club?
recorder club.
Recorder. That's literally the instrument they give you to practice and start with. Like that's before you get a real instrument.
Dude, actually, so you just play like your hot cross buttons, and then after that, like,
Everyone's blowing out of their nose.
yeah, yeah.
This club's stupid.
Why would I can't believe I got up at like 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m. just to like go to those practices. It's just like really.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. I used to do chorus in middle school too, and like that was actually kind of fun because we actually did go on like we would like go out and like compete and like sometimes we go to like Six Flags afterwards too, and it's just like that's partially how I got over my fear of roller coasters. Well,
Interesting.
actually flying out. I have a friend from high school, Evan Ryan. He moved out to California when I was in middle school, and like he invited me there to visit, and he like took me to like all these places where it's just like Disneyland, like SeaWorld, like all. It was awesome, dude, and that definitely helped me become a lot more independent too. I think because a lot of times like that was the first time like I think I was away from my family for like that long as like a was a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, I think. Um, and I don't know, it definitely I think yeah, that helped me build independence and like all that kind of I don't know, it's I feel like being on your own kind of thing is like a huge part of growing up or like just seeing like where you are in life from it.
I feel like we're always indoctrinated in a way because we're like in the house with our parents and like we're kind of like I don't know, the rules of the house aren't really set by you. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me it's just like you go to church on Sundays, you just make sure you like clean the bathroom every once a week, do your laundry, and it's just like day in day out. You kind of the routine is just kind of ingrained in your head. What was my experience like after like going to college? I don't know. I didn't think too much how crazy it was. Like it wasn't too different from like home, honestly. Like I did my laundry once a week. I ate like healthy. Honestly, I had had a lot of freedom in what I ate. Really, like I feel like I made my diet my own and not my parents more. Um,
I mean
I can't think broadlier than that right now.
like let's see my college experience. I mean, yeah, it was completely different. I feel like I mean, I was definitely a lot happier to be out of the house and just like be on a campus. Because I mean, of course, that's actually like what helped me lose weight and like all this kind of stuff and just like exercise, workout because you had like the gym right nearby, and then like was able to like make my own kind of diet. And I mean, like right now my diet's just like peanut butter, cottage cheese, and like toasted bread. Like that's pretty much just it. But I mean, it works and it works. And I do enjoy the food, and it's cheap, it's quick to do, and it's like awesome.
Julian, you are the image of new nutrition science.
Well, not flexible. Well, not I can say flexible nutrition science, but it's just like I don't know. I just like see
Honestly,
what works
everyone's
for me.
diet's different. I'm not.
It should be
I
different.
don't pick on anyone's diet. Honestly, like
Um, yeah. I mean,
unless you're trying to pick on me and like I don't know, like dude,
well,
don't tell
I
me to
mean,
eat
never shame
don't tell
someone
me
for like what
don't
they
tell
eat.
me to eat a salad more. You smoke like 5 cigarettes a day.
That sounds like from personal experience.
Hey man, you should eat more salads. No. This is a Chris. This is let's bring back Chris Rock into this. He did a bit about like pork, like people telling you not to eat pork. Like he has like I don't know, he had a friend telling him like, "Hey man, you should eat less pork," and it's like, dude, you smoke like 5 cigarettes a day. Like you're the last person to be telling me to eat less pork in my diet. Like not eating so much red meat. Like you live in America. This is a country. Like most countries can't like afford to eat like that fat of a piece of red meat. Like I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of that steak. Um,
Yeah, I don't really like, think too much in terms of like, oh, is this like a vegan diet, a carnivore diet, keto diet, like that kind. I'm just like, I just eat what I know like gives me like the nutrition I need, and it's just like, okay, do I have enough fiber, macros, micros, and then like there we go. And like, I mean, but like of course like don't obsess over like every single like little calorie too. It's just like if you do go over a bit, like I mean, honestly, it's like it depends like the weeks like you do it. It doesn't matter like the individual day. Like I mean, sometimes I might just like go to the store and like just buy sushi or like just take a bag of chips or whatever and just like eat like um just eat the whole thing that day and then just like the next day it's just like okay doesn't matter as much because it just if you just have something consistent and like you have a cheat days or that kind of thing. It's not even considered cheat days. It's just like if you just feel like it, you feel like it. But like um,
Cheat days
it
kind of
just depends.
present them. Cheat days kind of just present themselves to me as they come. Like it's like, oh, my mom decided to bake a cake today for some reason. I'm like, oh well, I guess I better have some. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I become a kid, when I mean when I when I become a parent, I'm gonna have so many cheat days because like I'm gonna be cleaning up my kids' plates. Like, oh, they didn't eat their crust off their PB and J's, and they're like, oh, mac and cheese left over again.
Oh, what a shame.
These better not. There are kids starving in Africa that could eat these. Oh
Did your parents ever say those kind of things?
no, my
Like,
my
same
parents are
here.
probably the strangest parents. I that's they're probably weird parents out there. Yeah.
I mean, all I can say is I'm happy with mine. I mean, I'm good. It's just like, hey, I'm not evicted from the house. I can still live here. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm
That's
satisfied.
a
I
plus for
would
me.
I would never buy a best mom, best mug, best dad mug ever. but but like because I can appreciate them for all the goods and bads about them. But yeah,
Oh yeah, it's the unconditional care. Like there we go. That's because like not
unconditional is a strong word.
unconditional. Excuse me.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've never experienced that.
I mean, nothing's like truly unconditional. Like, of course, there will be limits or boundaries that you cross that it's just like not acceptable anymore. And it's just like if you reach a certain age and that kind of thing, it's just like sometimes like I don't know, just like won't
Unconditional
see you as a
love is something that I don't think I'll ever understand until I become a parent because I have no idea why my parents like do shit for me. Like what like because it's so much I live in my head honestly. Like most of what I like there has I don't believe in like altruism, like doing something good just for the sake of doing good. Like because there has to be something rewarding that comes from it, like parenting must be rewarding. Like there has to be rewarding in some way for you to do it in the first place. Like I don't volunteer because for the sake of volunteering. I volunteer because I have the time to do it and I like to do it and it like feels good for me and the person gets help with something and you know
yeah. I mean,
that's why no
my
go
opinion,
ahead.
just like my opinions on like a volunteering and that kind of stuff, where it's just like I mean, like, I find it like extremely useful and that kind of thing. But like, if you do stuff like in the small scale, I feel like it doesn't like have that great of an. I mean, it impacts like your local communities, which is good. But I just feel like when it comes to like just larger things, it's like it doesn't like change too much. I don't know.
It's
It's like
great
for
for
me.
it's really great for you at a personal level just to like
Mhm.
throw yourself into something else that
No,
like
definitely,
oh this is
definitely.
this is something that like like honestly I joke so much that like our school had like a service trip to go to Belize in high school, and like like every year a select group of kids, not competition. It was just like if you paid the fee, you could go to Belize and like help out the country, and like people were so psyched, like oh I'm gonna like help build this well for Belize people, and it's like dude. You're literally going there to zip line and take photos with like the starving children. Like you're not doing any and like they come back from it feeling honestly like super depraved because like they didn't do shit there. Like it was more of an experience for them really to like I don't know like be humbled or really. rather than to actually do some good. Because I look at these Belize photos and they're like the children are like so sad and like the kids are like selfie. It's like wow, I'm helping these kids. It's like no, you're not. You're hardly doing anything. Yeah.
Those kind of like posts, like just pictures. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, just take it as you will, kind of really. Um, yeah, I don't.
I feel like it. I don't know. I feel like it pushes that like idea that we need to go to another country and help them.
Mhm.
And
I mean, what? I know there's like a term or like a word for that, where like you just
imperialism,
no, no,
colonialism
no. It's like no, no.
with a different face.
It's no. It's like when you do something, but like you only doing it for the sake of like just showing off that like oh you're a good person like that kind of thing. I forget what
Publicity,
publicity. No, no. It's I think it's kind of like it's like a dash. I think is in between like with like in the word. I might think of it later.
douchebag,
Douchebag.
dash,
That's what
douchebag,
um. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of it just like
sell out, cop
so
out. I don't know. Those don't have hyphens.
I don't know. Well, you're just like doing it just to seem like a good person, and like that's kind. It's oh man, I wish I think it might have been like a psychology term I learned. I'm not too sure. Although I don't know how like mainstream it is either. It could like be something else too. Um, I mean, you can definitely find it on like dictionary.com. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of it's just cringy when you like see people it's just like oh like I'm at like the food shelter helping out all the people like with like a big smile on their face like yeah it's like I don't know it's
Yeah,
I guess like off-putting I guess.
it should really be humbling, not like for you to add points to your like charisma or something. I don't know. It is really stupid how people manipulate it in that way. But I don't know. I have fun volunteering stuff. Like me and my Jeremy, like we went to the homeless shelter once, and it was like it was just fun. Like the homeless people there were so like down to earth and cool.
Mhm.
Like we're joking about like it was a dirty joke. Like one of the homeless guys was like uh I told one of them like hey I was like hey like the volunteer like staff lady wanted to talk to you. She's like oh you wanted to talk to me huh? Started like I don't know getting like super excited or something. And it was just funny as hell. Like he was a cool guy, but like the people there are just funny. Like they have the good energy. Jeremy and I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Wait, was this on campus like what
Yeah, it was
was
on campus. It was like FPC, like food pantry or something.
oh nice.
It was chill. It was really like it was so much. It's so much more fun than just like sitting on my ass and like I don't know watching like TV or something. Like
Yeah I don't know because you're just kind of like doing something productive but also like helping out others and like yeah.
yeah, I like you know just bring it back to like bringing meaning into your life. Really, like stop doing stuff that you know doesn't help yourself or others. And yeah,
I mean, it's just like what you value I think it's just like what can you like do with your time and like, but I mean, of course, like you want to enjoy it too. It's just like a bunch of variables, but like just like don't overthink it because like I mean, I believe that like you know what's best for you, and then just like kind of just like do that then, and like, but of course, like make sure it's like not make sure it's not detrimental to other people. Like you don't want to like hurt others or like that
yeah,
kind of
yeah. Of course, you don't want to.
like be considerate. Be considerate.
You don't want your happiness. I don't think you should ever make your happiness at the expense of other people. And if you do, like I feel like you grew up with the wrong virtues. Like somehow someone didn't teach you that. Like not to be a shitty person to people. Like somehow like someone told you that's okay to disrespect people like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of times people might act that way or like be disrespectful just because like they're currently not happy with like what their their lives currently are
That's true
going.
too.
It's like.
Yeah, one moment probably doesn't define someone's whole life. So
Mhm. But of
yeah,
course, like initial impressions, first impressions, that kind of stuff is just like very impactful. Like when meeting people too, it's like, okay, are you chill? Are you not? That kind of thing. But it's like if you're someone that's anxious, of course, when like going out and like doing stuff, then like of course you're gonna come off as someone that's just like really weird or like difficult to understand, like that kind of stuff.
I love people that just accept you for what you are. No judgment at all. Like they're so people that are so understanding
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
like understand that relationships and like humans are so complex, and like one interaction or maybe a lifetime of interactions will not really define like the person that you are.
Yeah,
Like
it's consistency. Yeah.
yeah, and like you don't just like texting or like I don't know dating. I don't know where am I going with this? Just like any way you interact with someone really will not encompass really who you are. And like I really try to avoid judging people as much as possible. Like even if it's positive or negative, like encounters. I don't try to like over underestimate or either of them really. Like try to make an inaccurate picture for things because I really don't know like what people are like inside. Like everyone's gonna have good and bad days, and everyone's like got problems and things
Yeah,
that
yeah,
make
yeah.
them who
I've
they're.
met to like meet someone who like has no issues or problems or that kind of stuff. It's like
You don't
actually, well,
exist.
they don't exist. I mean, no issues, problems. I mean, I guess I kind of meet people that are like that, but a lot of times, like, they have coping mechanisms to make them feel kind of like, or just like more like relaxed or chill. Uh, which, yeah,
I don't know if I believe. Yeah, if people actually have no problems at all, though. Like I don't know if the person like that actually exists. Because we're just human, we're just gonna follow our like our emotions and sometimes our insecurities. Like are we ever going to be fully insecure? I mean, perfectly secure with ourselves when we die? Like we were perfectly comfortable with the way we were, and we did it perfect, and we couldn't have been better at anything really. Like we were the best we did at. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's hard to tell really. It's like how satisfied are you with like the progress you mean? Like what are the expectations? Like, because you don't want to strive too high, because then like if like the goals are like nearly impossible to meet, then like of course you're gonna always feel dissatisfied. But like I don't know, I guess like when it comes to maybe like mental wellness, like just having like gratification of like what you currently do have and like what you've done so far,
Mm.
but don't like think about it too much. It's just like but keep on going with the thing where it's like okay, like I think the best thing to do maybe is like to be able to like focus on like work or like making progress in life or that kind of stuff is like is having gratitude with like what you currently have, which like should like elicit like a positive emotional response. Then like when you're feeling good and fine and relaxed, and you can just kind of continue on like doing what you're doing. And it's like I don't know, maybe just build some kind of like habit like that. But I mean, everyone of course is different, and some people might need like to take medication just to like help with like maybe hormonal responses or changes or that kind of thing.
Do you
Um,
drive yourself with like positive messages, or like sometimes you have negative things you tell yourself? Like I know, and like we said, everyone's different. Like some people fuel themselves with like was it negative reinforcement? They're like, oh, you're a piece of shit. You can do this. Like, oh, one more lift, or I don't know, like, oh, you're
is
doing
that
great.
negative? Is that negative reinforcement? I think I think that might be positive punishment. I'm not too sure.
Positive punishment.
It's like well, because so
Negative reinforcement is the idea that you're using negative, negative as in like not good
well,
thoughts,
no,
so
well,
to
because like
speak.
negative and positive, like those terms, like I mean, uh,
No, not
negative means like
we're not talking about like science, like negative
okay, so you
feedback,
just mean like the general kind of
like
like
bad and
yeah, bad.
good.
Just no, because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
negative technically means like you take away something, and positive means like you add
yeah,
something
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Like in
Uh,
terms of negative feedback in science, you take you take something away to
uh-huh.
stop
Like
something,
negative
or
reinforcement, I believe, is like um, it's like when you take away a bad thing to reinforce a good behavior. Where like negative reinforcement is like okay, like let's say oh no, like you're like a kid and like go to sleep every night at 8 p.m. Like you go to your bedtime, that kind of thing. A negative reinforcement might be like okay, you get your computer privileges back, kind of thing, because like or negative or no you take away something from them that like has a like that's like negative towards them, so like they continue doing the positive behavior, while positive punishment is like you do a bad thing towards them, like you do something like negative, like you take away computer privileges because they did a bad thing, and that's like positive punishment where it's like to you're not reinforcing the behavior, you want to like take away that behavior like
right,
we
right.
literally just like did this like in a
I get what you
psychology class.
mean.
Yeah.
Uh,
um,
I like, okay, maybe I don't know the definition, so I'll just say like bad reinforcement or
like detrimental maybe, I don't know.
detrimental, self-deprecating. because like the way I grew up learning negative reinforcement was like I say bad, like like
Uh-huh.
you don't say you don't use positive, you don't use uplifting like thoughts to
Oh, yeah,
feel
it just
someone.
becomes like the terms themselves are just confusing, honestly, too. It's like,
Hmm.
why would you say positive punishment? Just say like you're punishing them for doing something bad. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
confusing.
yeah. So like yeah, like some people fuel themselves with bad thoughts, or like they're really hard on themselves to make them like do better, and I can appreciate that because I can understand that because I do that too. I know that sometimes like when you're too hard on yourself, that can be a black hole instead of like an outlet, like because I mean it's that's like a natural, and there's like truth to that. Like if you're not doing well, and you being angry at yourself is just a way of saying that you're not doing well enough. To like that's just like a natural response to tell yourself like, oh, you want to do better. And but I feel like people that don't do the work and they end up just like making it all about how like insufficient they are, then like that's when you start but yeah, for you, like what is feeling you? Because I know like everyone's emotional drive in life is different.
Like what's so my motivational drive?
Yeah,
Um,
let's say with the go back to computer science. Really, like you're very passionate about the field, and it seems like you know there's this there's so much momentum that you got to wonder like how much of it is just coming from like rational thought, like if I do this, I'll get a job, and I can stay fed, and I don't know what feels like rational thoughts though either. Like all these different thoughts, all these different emotions. It's not just one emotion, honestly. There's probably a lot of different emotions that like go in day out that like really encompass who you are. It's probably honestly a loaded question because I feel because
yeah,
it's very
it is
complex.
definitely it's definitely difficult for like ooh, it's definitely difficult like what I guess like constantly motivates me to like do stuff. It's like I mean, well, one thing is like if I don't do it, for example, like or if like okay, like let's say when it comes to academics, that kind of thing, if I don't do my work, I'll fail the class, and of course, like that's not a good thing. Like
That's
that's
honestly a
destructive.
drive for so many people. Like
Like,
I've asked this question a lot about like why do you do this career? Why do you major in this to
uh-huh.
people? And they're like, oh, so I don't fail the class. And it's like that is a fuel,
I
but
mean,
I
it's a
don't.
sentimentality. I mean, like I definitely have more like underlying kind of motivations, but like I'm just like still like unsure like what like keeps like me wanting to like do like the stuff that I am doing.
I'm starting to
Um,
understand that maybe people are just more dynamic than I think, and it's not just like a singular drive, and it's more so just like, this. I'm not going to use fuel A today to power my. I'm going to use fuel B today, and I'm gonna be sad today and give myself fuel
yeah, I mean,
C.
it's
And
like what you feel. I mean, like I mean, you can like definitely induce an emotion of like how you're feeling, but like
that's true.
depending how
Yeah.
long it lasts, like that's kind of difficult then.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I do that a lot. Like thinking that people's fuels are one like single thought or whatever, but like it's really just like a up and down battle of uh like you're not going to be it's not going to be a smooth incline, it's just going to be up and down the whole time.
I mean, like I just know for some people, if they like have anxiety or panicking about something, like in order to like calm them down, like all you have to do is like kind of tell them things are fine. Like, I don't know, just like I don't know, just make sure like they're feeling comfortable is all like in the situation. But like for me, that stuff like doesn't help as much, or like rather, it's like something that kind of it's nice, but like it doesn't actually solve the issue of what I'm actually panicking about. Where it's like, oh, if I have like a deadline for like an assignment, or like if I don't know, I might just be like stressed out when it comes to like job searching or internships and like just like succeeding in them. It's like sure, like when you're comforting me, you're trying to put my emotional state back to like homeostasis, but like that's not actually solving like what the real problem is. Like if I'm in an exam in 6 hours, like you telling me things are going to be okay is not going to like it will help in a way to like actually help me continue studying, but it's actually not gonna like tell me how Green's theorem is gonna work. Like it's that kind of thing where like it's I don't know. I think the whole idea of comforting someone is like yeah, it's like putting back in an emotional state where like they feel good so they can continue working. But like the reason why I don't feel good from the beginning is because I'm having a hard time working already sometimes. So it's just like it doesn't like help. It's just kind of like a recursive kind of, maybe not recursive, but just like it's a loop. And
Most of my fuel, I mean, sorry, most of like my security honestly comes from myself, honestly. Like
mhm.
it's been really hard. It's I feel like it's really difficult for people to try to give good advice if they don't understand exactly like the nuances of what you're feeling and even what the problem is for that matter. And like for you is like I always hit that reset button when I'm having a hard day and I try to like isolate myself and just like not stay tunnel vision and just like look at the bigger picture. Like just look back at what I have. Like I have like I'm very appreciative that like even though this didn't work out with this person, I still have all these other people. That's just like one example, but
Mhm.
like oh maybe I didn't get this job, but you know it's not over yet. Like I don't know, I'm still healthy. I'm still like I still have tons of drive
Oh
and
yeah, we're still young,
yeah
healthy,
yeah
other
yeah
opportunities, that kind of stuff. But of course, like it is draining though. Like when it is difficult to like get success, it's like
yeah.
when you're striving, trying to like work towards something and like keep going with it, but like just like failing constantly, or it's just like
It sounds
it just
like
gets exhausting.
it sounds like I'm endorsing like being alone, but I do value people though. Like there is a time when people come in and like I just don't know how much value it is. Like can they actually understand you and solve your problems or are they there just to like give you ideas, you know? Like my interactions with people like even this or I don't know all the friends I have I make, like I'm not trying to have like not meaningful relationships with them. Like I want to like understand them better, like and like through that I can like feel closer to them and like you know maybe it can be more unconditional, like oh I want to help them just for the sake of helping them because I like want to do that. Or but then again like who it's so hard to ask for help these days honestly because it's very much like I can do it myself attitude because I have that too. um, yeah, I don't honestly don't know when you pull people in to like actually ask for help. It's so hard.
Oh yeah, I guess like especially if it's like a last minute thing too, because then just like
Yeah,
give you crap for that. It's like, come on, man, like
yeah. I like it's like usually when I like it's like I have a CS project and I didn't go to my other resources first. Like I didn't go to TA or even read the book. Maybe you know. And it's like, hey man, how do you solve a recursion? It's like this is literally a textbook problem, Brian. You can do this. I'm like, no. Um, I don't know.
I mean, like, I mean, there are like a bunch of tutorials online of like overcurves, like the new boss, and like that guy's like amazing on YouTube.
Oh,
Um,
I think I know who you're talking about.
like Bucky is his name,
I don't know, but
or he goes by
he
Bucky.
doesn't have too many views, right? Or subscribers. It's kind of small.
I think. Well, I mean, I know when I discovered him like a decade ago, he didn't like have that many like subscribers, but I think he's like at like 2 or 3 million right now. But like,
Oh, okay.
that number is kind of considered low compared to like how some people have like 50, 60 million subscribers now. Like that, like being at the top of like yeah, being at
All
the
you
top
got to
of
be is
TikTok.
a TikTok dancer now to get that many views. I never understood the YouTube algorithm, or
I
just
think it's just,
what people's interests are in
I,
general.
I I think it's just like you gotta. I mean, I think the algorithms are just like seeing what's trending, and you should hop on that trend, and then once you are able to accumulate maybe a fan base or a following, then you can kind of like diverge from that trend and start doing your own things to be like unique and creative or whatever. But then you built your own community already, and you're able to grow from that. I think that's kind of like how you do it.
Community, more like what's something clever? Plague. I don't know.
Like, I
Damn
mean,
it, nailed it.
I mean, I know like Twitter communities and that kind of stuff is just like so toxic of like
Yeah.
wanting to cancel culture, all that kind of stuff, just like trying to silence everybody. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
I was listening on a podcast recently about like this person was trying to do an actual survey on Twitter, and I don't know why she would conduct a survey on Twitter. Maybe because like there's actual people on there, um, about like something about trans issues. Like she was trying to conduct a survey to do like an experiment or something or a statistic, and it got butchered by like the trans community because Like they thought that she was trying to like do something like that would hurt LGBTQ. Like she was just trying to gather like honest information. Like the data got skewed because they brought in like the whole like LGBT community, and like the data like just didn't come out right at all. Like it Twitter is disgusting. I would never go on there. I've never actually used Twitter, honestly. Like I have one, but I've never touched it really.
I mean, I just have it for like Smash Bros stuff, really.
Oh, okay.
Like yeah. I might just like post something of like Minecraft Steve, or just like a sick combo, like whoa, like I don't know, something like that. And of course,
Combo
like, I connect with
breaker.
like my like the people like that go to UMass Amherst, that probably like the Smash Club, and I don't know, just do those kind of things.
Did you ever
Uh,
participate in that Smash tournament UMass thing?
like was this online or?
I got emails about them about like the Smash Club or something at
Oh, you know,
UMass.
no, I yeah, no, I'm top three, baby. Let's go.
Oh, you were in those? My brother was
Yeah,
in those.
wait, you mean like last year or last semester?
This semester.
Oh, this semester. Okay, no, I'm not.
Oh no, no,
I'm not.
no! It's run by the UPC. They do these Smash tournaments, and they like have giveaway like prizes.
Oh, it might not be from like officially like the Smash
No, no,
Club
it's
or
not.
something
It's
like
by the
that. Okay,
UPC
no,
club.
I don't.
It's
Okay,
like
well,
the
like,
university
yeah.
programming. They like make they run events and stuff.
um,
They just happen to do a Smash event as well, and yeah.
you know, I mean, if it's online, I'm not gonna play because Fox is trash online, and I'm like, I just can't play at my optimal level. I can like make so many
Bro, why you
excuses.
glitching?
You gotta check. No, no, it's yeah. I don't like playing online too much. It's also like I guess I'm trying to like prior like I remember like freshman year like of college, or like at least like first semester of sophomore year, I would like practice the game like a ton. But now I just like either play with friends or like in tournaments. But like I don't like try and get better like as much anymore. It's just like I just try and prioritize other things versus like jobs or like that kind of thing.
That's a good attitude. Yeah. Don't get too sucked into one thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, just
How long has this episode been going? Like 2 hours?
oh wow.
Dang. I
Because like I
think
know, was it typically it goes like an hour and a half or something like that, or
yeah, something like that. It doesn't really. Oh, my! I think my first episode was in 2 hours and a half though, and like because we were talking about religion, and it's like a subject that can go in very nuanced
was it
in
something you
depth.
both knew a lot about?
Yeah, it was the three of us, and it was just like a. It goes thing about like like Christianity to an extent. The realm gets to very like you got to analyze the text like word by word, um, or maybe more so like in reference to other parts you go back and forth a lot, and it's just it's it gets really I wouldn't say trivial, like nuanced. I'll just say nuanced. Yeah, yeah, because it just um, it's very complicated sometimes, and like I don't know. It's not.
Well,
I understand. I understand. Like I think I'm good at like analyzing biblical text. I just don't like it
wait
honestly.
for you. Like, are you like a Christian, Catholic, Protestant? Like,
I
which
was
category?
raised I was raised Catholic, but I don't identify as any religion right now. Honestly, like
So is it like agnostic kind of thing, where it's like you
I don't
like
know.
it's
I
not necessarily that you don't believe in that
Yeah,
there's a God.
I would say agnostic. Like I think there's definitely something greater out there. I like what I really appreciate about religion though, like any religious sex. How you say
Sex,
it?
wait, section?
SECT.
Sect, sector?
It's like another word for branch.
I think it's sector.
Well,
Oh,
it's
discipline maybe,
sect. No,
or
no, that's a real word. Sect.
oh,
Sect is a real word, but the plural is sex. That makes it sound like I'm saying sex.
yeah. I mean, there's so many words
I'm
that sound like that.
expanding on this more than I really should.
Yeah, I was about to continue expanding, saying things like, oh, and because like I know German, and it's just like when you're counting, like it's like you have like eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht. No, so it's just there's a lot of like ways of saying it, I guess.
I know you Germans like to count with your thumbs
Yeah,
first.
yeah, we do have thumbs exactly. That's
It's
actually how
just
they would
three. It's not
like.
the
Yeah, I do that.
all I
Well,
remember.
here's the thing. When I'm doing this, right? Like, I can't. I this feels so weird. Like I have to like because like my pinky doesn't go down by itself.
Really? No,
I can't.
I can
Well,
understand.
I
Even
have to
this kind of feels weird.
like yeah. Well, because I think it's because like there's some sort of like ligament like here, or what I don't know what the term is. Just like tendon maybe. I don't know. What you just can't. There's a connection that some people have, like I think most people probably have, but like you can't like. If someone do like a gang single blood or whatever. Oh no, but like okay, so you said you were raised Catholic.
Yeah. I like
Okay.
what I appreciate from other branches of religion is just like how it relates to being human. Like it's very relatable to like what you want to become. Like Christianity, it's like really pushes a lot of good messages about like being a good person. But like we're also really flawed. Like nobody's perfect, and they also grind that really hard. Like there's people out there that have egos so big that they think they're a god and they could change the world, and it's like no, you're not that awesome. You're like you're one grain of sand in like I don't know. You're yeah. And there's like other things too. Like Taoism's kind of pushing that as well. Honestly, like life can be pretty simple. I don't try to bash on religion too much, but I can understand people that do. Like people that I don't know. Some religions are weird.
Yeah.
Go into the cult side of things. Yeah,
I mean, I think religion, like, I mean, it helps like give you a place of like identity. I feel like,
yeah.
um,
I try to develop my own identity on my own though. Like I that's why I try to shy away from like culture and ethnicity and religion and you know, because we're not like cut corners and we don't fit nicely into a box. You know, we have different shapes and sizes, and we have different experiences growing up, and that's kind of how it is. Like, I would rather not make assumptions or like um, be too immersed in like ethnicity or culture or religion that like makes my whole life because like I want to experience other things too. You know, like I can't really, I can't go in day out knowing the same stuff already. You know, like being a Catholic the whole time. I can't do that. Like, I see flaws in the religion itself. That's why I had to step out in the first place. Like, because things just didn't make sense to me there, and I had to like find meaning in other stuff as well. Like, yeah,
yeah, just well, that I think it's good to like prioritize other things in life too. Like, cause like I mean, like for me, I mean, I have like my own communities when it comes to like, okay, I have like my Smash community. I have like my nerd science, computer science group. Like, you just like have those kind of things, but like it just limits you to what you're able to do because like none of those people in those groups can like necessarily give me a connection to like I don't know, like when it comes to and I just feel like it's like a limited range. Like our
yeah,
groups are kind of like, I guess, so individualized almost. Where like we don't really have any other connections you can necessarily branch off to. So like that's why I do things like running club, where like I can like see like what they kind of do and just like have fun activities like with them. And then I try and probably like the neuroscience club too, where like yeah sure it is kind of still like that kind of branch, but like you do meet other people and like that's like how you can build a network like a bit more easily.
yeah.
Um, but honestly,
I
like
100% agree with you.
like building networks, I think is like at least nowadays like I mean sometimes I go on to like a random website like talktoastranger.com or like whatever and like sometimes like I mean most of the people on there holy shit it's so weird
I've
like
never been on that,
it's
but
so weird. Okay I mean like okay half the time it's probably like either a troll someone who's just like being a creep or like that kind of stuff uh but like sometimes you might have like decent conversations with them or like able to like connect with them on a different level and then like you might like end up like I don't know like either I don't know, just like friending on like Facebook or Instagram and just like kind of continuing stuff from there. And it's like,
I've heard of a couple getting married complete virtually through World of Warcraft. I've never heard of meeting your true love on just meet a stranger.
no,
That'd be crazy.
dude, that's what dating apps are for. Or I mean, that's what like life is really for general. Um, Yeah, but honestly, no, dating apps like they're rigged, or like rather like I don't know, it leaves like a bad taste in my mouth like a lot of times. It's just like
If you think of it like in terms of like game theory or like in terms of practicality for the companies, they're not trying to find you love. They're trying to make you insecure so that you stay on their app and spend money on their not the free version, the
yeah,
and then that
it's kind of sad
start
how
buying likes or
it's
whatever.
sad how they monopolize loneliness. Honestly, it's like there are literally services out there for like cuddle buddies where like you can
I
hire
think I
some.
know of this. Yeah,
Yeah, like I think I told you this before. I'm not too sure, but like you can spend like $40 an hour with someone like to cuddle, and it's just like I think it's the saddest shit ever. Really,
I think
it's
it's
just
usually.
like
I remember a video. It was like men who do it usually, but I bet it could be women too. But I don't know how. I feel like that's kind of sus.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, I feel like the demographic is more towards like guys, to be honest, just because it's like yeah, it's unfortunate. I think it's just really sad with like how like I mean at least like that. I mean I don't know how like large like that is necessarily like or how popularized it is because like I don't think it's necessarily mainstream. But like
well, you
just for
look at
that to
well. I
kind of
mean, look at Japan. They have like you can buy your own family. You know about that?
I don't wait. What is that?
So basically, I don't know how common it is in Japan, but like Conan O'Brien did a whole episode about it when he was in Japan. He bought it. Like you can do this. Like when men, like people are lonely. Loneliness is so big in Japan, and you can literally like hire uh, people like for a whole year or longer. You can hire. I think 2 or 3 years is the max for some. Some people don't even. It's a whole contract really.
Uh-huh.
Like they become your family for some odd years or depending on how long you want it to be. But like yeah, you pay for a family. It's kind of it's sad how yeah people will monopolize like people's insecurities like that. But I mean that's kind of how everything is really. If you feel like there we don't I feel like as humans we don't need that much, we really don't need that much, but then the businessman's like, oh but you need it though, it's like you need this. Come on, you got to be insecure if you need this. It's like you got to need this fast car to like I don't know get girls or something. It's like oh I guess I do
Yeah.
now.
I mean that's like a popular form of advertisement. Really, it's just like just
The
I don't know.
woman
You're
on the
selling
car or
here. You're
something.
selling that. Just like just slap a person on there, and it's like there we go. See like uh
It's gross, it really is, and I really feel like um, we
Right,
could
I just
all
feel like
we
this
could
makes
we could
everyone feel bad about themselves, really, because it's like for women they just like, compare themselves to those kind of like mall magazines kind of thing, but for guys it's just like well, like they act as if it's kind of like a prize rather than like maybe some kind of like I don't know respectful mutual relationship. I don't know, just like however you want to describe
mm,
it.
it really is gross. Yeah, I try to avoid like in general like corporate stuff that like let's say fast food. I feel like this is one perspective that drives me to like eat healthy. Is like oh they want me to be lazy and fat and stupid and like not get nutrients. They whoever at the big level is trying to like keep me like my keep me brain dead to like keep buying their cheap like nasty food like good delicious but like cheap food. Like I have to think about that to like have the strength to say no to stuff like fast food or anything like that's like trendy, not just fast food, like social media or um, I don't know.
Mm,
But
I mean,
yeah, I don't really snack as much as I used to, like little like cookies or like I don't know. It's weird. I operate in weird ways sometimes. Like, oh no, I shouldn't eat this.
well,
Like,
because
I'm better
you
than
then you
this.
feel bad about yourself afterwards, and it's just like oh shoot, like I shouldn't have like had all this kind of stuff, and then uh like, I don't know,
Okay.
like what I mean, what route do you choose after you eat something bad? Like, do you fast? Do you just like do an extra mile when running? Like, what do you do? You do another bag? Like, I mean, that's what I do sometimes.
It's like you punish yourself for doing something stupid. It's like, yeah, stress eating is it's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot of different vices. Like, really, when like like things to like relax you. It's just like okay, what is it? Like some people like use alcohol, some people use food. It's just like it's all this. It's like a giant list, really.
Hmm.
Um, I mean,
And
food for
then
me is
like
like
the
a huge thing.
feeling I what I really took away from being in like a Christian community is like all those vices, like they're so fleeting, it's all ephemeral, it goes away and it's not long lasting. Like I don't
What does ephemeral mean? Like
it's
what's this big boy word? I forget.
it's just a it's just another word for short temporary.
Short temporary. Okay, ephemeral. Okay, I like
Yeah,
that word.
yeah, it sounds fancy, that's why I
Yeah,
say
because I
it.
definitely heard it before, but I've never used it like everyday language.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, just like I like you, I think something that's meaningful should last more than a moment. Last the memory shouldn't just be like I can't if I eat a really good meal, like am I really gonna be remembering this meal for the rest of my life? Like no,
just
stupid.
reminisce on the days of lasagna and like cheesecake. It's
Lasagna.
like, oh yes.
Yes, those
Uh,
really. Sometimes I do though. Like when I was a kid, like oh wow, I could eat all this. But I mean, like it's so overrated though.
I mean, I think the importance of like sure, like long term wise, it's like not gonna like get you anywhere really, but like you do need short term pleasures in order to like keep on like going really. Like you
Um,
need that short term like stuff.
I don't know. I've never pushed myself so far. I don't know how far I've ever pushed myself without like pleasures. You know, like
Mhm.
because like we all kind of have our different limits. Like some people limit have like can at like make themselves what's the word uh like sober or like be so like cold turkey. I don't know what the word is. Um, they can abstain, right? They can abstain from things longer than others. Like oh, like I've gone this like I haven't eaten since breakfast, and like oh I'm so cranky or whatever, or like I've gone like a whole month without alcohol, and I don't know, like maybe you can go your whole life without alcohol. Maybe you can go through your whole life without like woman. I don't know. Maybe your life would be more meaningful that way. I'm not
And
sure.
maybe it could be like less stressful because like with like drinking, maybe like if you go your whole life without it, like yeah, it you won't have an addiction to it. You like I mean I guess like it helps with like weight loss too. I guess like because some people like struggle like losing like a beer belly because they drink too much. But I think when it comes to um, but I mean
Coffee.
drink. I mean
Coffee is a weird one for me. People are like,
drinking like
I gotta have my
socially drinking is
coffee.
different
Yeah, yeah. So
versus coffee.
socially drinking is a different case because it's not like you're addicted to it. It's like it
Yeah.
doesn't. You don't need it. It's not gonna affect.
Well, like socially drinking is like really important when it comes to like events where there's like alcohol, just because it's like it's easy to like match with like or like vibe with someone better
Yeah,
like when you're
yeah.
drinking. So because you're not gonna be like as nervous or like worried and like that kind of stuff.
I think that's a
Um,
good point. I think that's valid. Like as long as you don't let it control your life, um,
mhm.
then like it's fine. Um, like because you always want to have upward momentum. You can't let like these vices pull you down in any way. You can't let them be an anchor at all because that's like when you realize like this thing is being destructive than actually like helping you in any way, then you gotta like shut it off already. Like the thing with the drinking example obviously is like this guy is hurting his life and he's maybe like not being productive or hurting those around him, whatever, you know.
Yeah, the thing is like yeah, I mean if you do it like recreationally, I mean it's not if it like negatively affects you or like it like makes you like unproductive or like that kind of thing. I mean the same thing could be said for like masturbation, like that kind of stuff too, where it's just like excessive use of it. Like yeah, no, it's not good, but it is really good for like relieving stress, like making sure you can focus on stuff like post nut clarity, like whatever the hell you like, want to
Yeah, no,
talk about.
that
It's
is
just
a real that is
like
a
that's like
real
a
thing.
legitimate thing.
I what was I gonna say? Um,
Was it alcohol?
the hardest part, the worst part is when you don't realize that it's hurting you though. Like for let's say like masturbation, like you know how people say like it can skew your like perception of woman and love and like how serious like it can like take off the edge of how serious a relationship actually is. Like are you valuing that like sex as much as you should with a woman? It's kind of a tricky, it's a really tricky like subject to really
I mean,
answer.
it's. I mean, I guess like the most like simple solution about that is like you just can't be like it's stubborn's not the right. You can't be selfish, I guess, when it comes to like intimacy and that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Where it's
totally.
like you need to be considerate of the other person, make sure they're feeling comfortable, and it's like that kind of thing. As opposed to like with porn, a lot of times it's just about you. You just like switch to different tabs or whatever, and like you just like find like what you dig, and like that's it. Like there's like no shame. Well, like it depends. I mean, if you shame yourself, it doesn't matter. Like, but you don't have to worry about like anything because like it's like on your own kind of like time. Like you don't have to like be worried about like if you're weirding someone out or like that kind of, there's a lot of like it's a lot
But
of like
another thing is like the aggregate value of it though. Like it goes
I
down. It goes down over time.
like
It depreciates. Like like imagine you not for like you imagine you masturbate for the first time and
yeah,
you're
I love
what?
it. Imagine you nut for the first time. Let's go. Your first nut. You
It's
want to talk
like
about your first nut? Like what that was?
the kid the,
I
like
remember.
it's the best, it's probably the best, and then like you're gonna it's gonna hit a low point because you know it gets boring, you want, and then you try something new, and then you like find out about, like you're still a kid and say you find out about porn for the first time and you realize, oh, it's gonna elevate my, you know, my sexual activity because it's though because before it was getting boring and now I have this new resource, and that got boring too now, and now I gotta try out new things like, oh, okay, let's see, there's gay porn, there's like BDSM, there's like,
I
oh,
mean,
okay.
it can give you ideas though if you like are in a relationship. Like if like you know whether you want to like use a belt or not, or like in by belt I mean like there's a way to use a belt where you can actually like cup yourself like together so like you can't like move it out. You can basically you can cup yourself.
Why not? Why don't I
Um,
just chop the last end of this this
you
podcast
could do
out?
that if you want. You could do that if you
It
want.
doesn't, it doesn't matter to me.
Uh, well, I
But
mean, like, well, how do you feel about like this kind of stuff
I
on your
don't, I
podcast?
really don't care. I'm very comfortable with who I
Okay,
am.
yeah. No, I mean,
With
I'm
all
just
my, that's up to you what you want to talk about.
um,
But
I'm down to leave it in just because it's like those kind of things like are part of my life and things that like I am aware about, and it's like
I hate how people like don't, like you ever remember, you ever remember in like middle school where people like pretended they didn't masturbate, like, oh, that
I
nobody,
remember that. I remember that they
like
were just like
everyone just wants to stand on their pedestal and think that they're a perfect human being, that they had no problems in life growing up, that, oh, you have,
see
you're going
this is
through
a part
this,
of
wow, you're so like beneath me, really, like
okay.
it's stupid.
This is a part of kind of conversation where like things are like actually real, or things are like how things like actually kind of are. That's because like I mean, because I was one of those kind of people too when I was younger. Was like I wouldn't admit to like that kind of stuff, and it's just like, oh, it's like
Oh,
an
you
embarrassment.
farted,
It's like you
wow,
farted.
you
It's like
farted
oh,
in public.
it's like awful.
Yeah,
Um, but it's no, I don't know. It's just something I don't think you should like be shamed for. Although like I was called to like the vice principal's office once for like having stuff on my laptop. I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
this is the school laptop.
This is the
Julian.
school laptop. Would you? I was at home. It was 2 a.m. Okay, like don't shame me. Okay, like
Wait, you're from
yep,
Hopkinton?
yep, you got it, got it.
Yeah, does that school give you laptops or something?
They do, yeah.
Or...
Well,
Okay.
well, like not for free, of course. Like you have to
Yeah,
pay for,
yeah.
you can pay for like a yearly thing. So like, I
Mm-hmm.
think the total cost was like, actually, I have no idea. I want to say like it was like 1,100, but it could have been like 800, 700 too. I'm not too sure. Um,
In Swampscott, we had the cow. It was it was like a giant like a cart that had like the cheapest MacBooks you could find. It was like you used them during class and you open Chromebook or whatever or something. Yeah. And then you had the calves. The calf was the laptop, and you stuck the calf back into the cow when you're done. It was,
uh-huh.
I don't know why. It's like that's what we had. We didn't. I know some schools had laptops though that you could bring home. Yeah.
Huh.
They
Did you
never. Did you ever? Could you ever use the internet in school? Was that ever allowed?
you could, but they did block some websites.
Okay.
Like they blocked the
Well,
website that was like kind of
at least you could use the internet, their
yeah,
internet. Like
yeah.
they didn't let us use their internet at all. It's dumb.
So I mean, did you ever have like a study hall or a study block kind of thing?
Yeah, but we had to. We couldn't use like the school data with our phones or anything. Like,
Huh.
I mean, if we brought our own laptop to school, we couldn't be like, hey, what's the Wi-Fi password? Can I use your bandwidth,
Edward, please.
please? No,
Uh,
but yeah, yeah. People love to pretend that their shit doesn't stink.
Oh no, 100 people. Well, people just I don't know. It's kind of it's just complicated. Because, like people want to like I feel like a lot of people are stubborn that they want to like think like they're like they think that they're right or like how they have like they hold a belief that they just like want to continue with it because like they want to like think like oh maybe like it's a mistake what they're thinking or like I'm not too sure like
Insecurity. I think a lot of insecurity comes from people who try to pretend that they're perfect because
uh-huh.
they know deep down they're not, and then they try to tell themselves that they are. Like, no, no, you're not. Like, nobody's perfect the way you are. I hate when people are like, when people say, "Oh, you're perfect the way you are," and it's like, no, you're not. Trust me. I mean,
It's
your trajectory could be fine. Like, you could be
I mean
aiming for something higher,
I,
but
I think being yourself like that, like that's fine. But like the context of the situation is important, as well as like you can always be a better version of yourself as well. So like maybe your current version might not be the best, but it also depends like how you're feeling in the moment too. Like I don't know if a family member just passed away, obviously you're not gonna like be the best like version of yourself. Like you need to like experience like those emotions. Um, but oh man, I definitely want to like mention and talk about something, but I forget what that was.
yeah, whatever. Like, I do have church in like half an
Half an
hour,
hour.
I think. But I mean, 2.5 hours, man.
Oh
That's like
man.
a that's. I mean, I have enjoyed this conversation very much, and I like I do want to talk about more with
Uh-huh.
you, but I do want to be respectful of your time as well. Like,
I mean, like, do you want to
yeah,
like kind of end it on like the question that like, you asked me like before that like you wanted to like go into like a little bit?
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah. It
we can do
was
that a bit like
it's
about I think it was about certainty.
part two or something. Another
Yeah.
time in the future. I don't know how much in the future that
I mean,
will
well, I
be
mean,
because
it's just like
I do try to get on someone. Like, I do want to get you on at some point again, but
mhm,
I do want to get on some people at least once at some
mhm.
point. But yeah, I'm trying to. It's hard to even explain this like question because I kind of addressed it to you earlier about like what
But
drives you in
it
computer
was like
science
I know the way you worded it like
in
before was
life.
really like well said. Like
Okay,
I
okay. So I can just say it
uh-huh.
again. Like, we all have these high we always have these high and low emotional we always blah we always have these like high and emotional. God damn it, I can't even say it anymore.
Actually,
Okay,
we're
let
good.
me.
2.5 hours. That is a long time. It's like we just like talked about it like I don't know, just like if I just do a random phone call,
No, 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 I'll get this right and then I'll
uh-huh.
chop it out if
Chop
necessary.
it out. Okay, sure,
Okay,
sure.
like I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about for the longest time because I don't know what drives me. It's like, here's the question. Really, is like, we have these emotional highs and lows throughout our life. You know, some people um, try to feed themselves with like like positive, and positive as in like good emotional thoughts, like, you know, hopefulness or like confidence, or I don't know, just the right energy for them. But some people also like tell themselves like mean stuff to themselves. Like, those are the lows. Those are the low ends in life where you tell yourself, you know, you're a piece of shit. You could do so much better than this, or like, wow, you're not living up to your standards or whatever. It's very self-deprecating. It can be, but it can also strengthen. It can also reinforce you at the same time. Like, um, and then you have people that don't listen to either spectrum of their emotions. They just kind of live in this neutral zone where they just try to be rational. I mean, I don't know if it's inherently rational because whenever I feel emotional about something,
Mhm.
like, let's say I'm trying to I have a I'm like, I have a really good relationship with this person, and, you know, my emotions are really well, um, and I feel like so optimistic about like our future, and then like we stop talking to each other, and like then like the negative emotions feed in, and it's like, oh, this was never like this could never work, they never understood me, and like clearly they're not the right person at all. Like, either of those ends, there's truth to either of them, but they don't paint the full picture of like what you're really feeling, honestly. Sometimes, like, sometimes the neutral zone's a good place to be in. Like, take a step back and not listen to your emotions. Like I don't think either end or the middle is like the full truth. of like the situation. But I think it is good to listen to like the full spectrum of your emotions. Like be fully immersed in your anger and your sadness and your griefs, but
Mhm.
also the joys in life and what makes you happy and what energizes you, and what makes you love people and what makes you cry. And because like a lot of us aren't like computers or something. We're not built to be rational all the time. We always like try to rationalize things out, but at the end of the day, sometimes we have to look back and realize like how much of our lives was just built on like an emotional drive, and like how much of is it true. That's another thing. Like that's the other part of it. Like who's really you? Are you just all of your anger and sadness, or are you also like your those positive things in your life? I don't know. It's a tricky subject that you know I try to be really careful about how I go about. I think you can apply this tactic to anything or this thought really. I think about it a lot of it in terms of relationships with people, because it's kind of like for me to like gauge what's true or not in the relationship, like what really encompasses it. And I feel like the full range, you really need the full range to like make truth of it all. You, even like, I don't know, choosing a shirt for the day, is it out of like insecurity, or is it out of like you want to look good for like your friend, who you're going to hang out with, or maybe you just wore it because you like the color. I don't know. It can get super. It's just such a subject that can get really nuanced, but also like I find it interesting because I I am an emotional person. I am very sensitive, and I listen to my emotions all the time. And sometimes I gotta pull away, um, and like not be emotional, be detached. Um, though you run the risk as well of being detached as well, like not listening to your emotions sometimes and just being like a robot. But I don't know. It's a weird subject. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so pretty much the whole thing is like just about emotions, but just like knowing like what's like that the whole spectrum of like understanding.
Yeah, you
Um,
really. I think we really need to like appreciate all of our emotions. Like people. You have people that try to suppress their emotions in life, like say that everything's okay in life, or people that tell you that it's like you stop being angry or stop like being fed up over this. It's like let people be okay with their emotions. Like don't let them get stuck in said emotion forever. Don't let them be happy forever. Don't let them be angry all the time. Um, because it's just not realistic. But I think it's okay that we go through like all these phases, because like it's just part of growing up, I guess. Like you you learn something from all these emotions.
oh, yeah, I think you mature from it, but I think that a lot of times, like I think it's like the difficult emotions in being able to like not have like if you're not affected by difficult emotions, or rather, like if you're able to, I guess, just like overcome like like times when you're like not feeling well, I feel like that's what builds like character and confidence, and like be able to like be more like independent, and like not have to like rely on others. Because like the more like bad things that happen to you, or the more things that like seem unjustified or things that are difficult, I think just builds you as a person, because like it just means like you're not be able to like be knocked down as easily. It also means that you won't be like affected as like emotionally easily by what others have to say. Um,
Mm.
and so you can just like, then you can like truly have like your own like thoughts and opinions, but like know how to go about them too without like being like I'm not describing like in like a mean or angry way either. It's just more of like a kind of like how you like, describe it kind of neutrally, but like still you still have like opinions, whether it might be like positive or negative, but you're able to like say it like the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Because like honestly, like for, like word phrasing and word choice is like at least like so important. Like when it comes to like talking to others about like how you're feeling about stuff. And like I mean, this might be like a bit of a tangent or like kind of off to the side, but like if you like like let's say like you're jealous of someone for like they have like a lot of money or like that kind of thing, right? Like you might like feel like resentment and like that kind of stuff. But if you just like I mean, but if you like you're friends with them and you're hanging out and like that kind of stuff, like just being openly with, like with them with how you feel, like just like saying like, "Oh man, like I'm just like so envious of like all the stuff you have." But like if you just like but if you just like ask them about like advice on like how to like live as well as they do or that kind of stuff, I feel like that is kind of more productive. Like just accepting the emotions you have and being open about it, I think is important. Is all. Um, I think describing the emotion is better than um like feelings. Maybe like, at least like the negative emotions. I'll say at least.
Mm,
Because I feel like if you do have resentment towards that friend, like you're more likely not gonna like act or behave like well like around them, and like that's not a good thing. But if you're kind of like open around it, but like of course you don't take it as seriously either, then like
mm,
uh, but I'm trying to think how it's like related, but like that's just like an opinion I have when it comes
mm.
to like how you're feeling about stuff. Where it's like yeah, don't ball it up, like do show it, but like don't take it too seriously either. Where it's like if they don't respect like how you're feeling, then it's just like that's fine too. It's like
Yeah, but
um,
we're men. We can't exercise outside of our gender roles. You know, we gotta
I do
forget about.
I do 100% agree with that. Where like a lot of times for like male mental health, like no one gives a shit, dude. Like a lot of times, like you have to build yourself up to something for people to actually care.
Yeah.
But like that just as a guy, like that's just like that just yeah, it's
When you
yeah,
appreciate,
it's
yeah,
a sad truth kind of thing. Where it's like if you're just like not well off, or like you're someone who's just like anxious, like that's not good if you're a dude, really.
it's yeah. That's why like I just like reinforce just like someone that understands you like as a human being, not as a role. You know, like as a man, you have to be all these things. It's like no, you're a human being, and like it's okay if you're not like the way you are, and but you know, self improvement is great, obviously. Yeah.
But I mean,
Um,
it is exhausting because like you got to do a lot of stuff yourself in a way where it's just like you got to make like those kind of choices, and it's tiring. I mean, like
yeah.
yeah, it's good to have like a good community built of like friends, family, that kind of stuff to like help you along with things. But at the same
Mhm.
time, it's like I don't know, it is tiring.
Right.
Um, I
It
mean,
is
you just keep going, you keep moving, like you just keep
absolutely.
trying.
This has
Like
been really good, Julian.
you know, I've enjoyed. I like the snow we're ending on. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of nice.
Um,
Oh,
but yeah, thanks so much, honestly, for your time, Julian. And just like, why am I making it sound like
no, it's good.
it's an outro. It's like an
I
outro.
like the outro. Yeah, it's
No,
nice.
but really,
Yeah.
thanks. I really appreciate you. Just like we can flesh out, just like things people maybe wouldn't talk about
Mhm.
normally. Like maybe normally people would just sit around and like not take things seriously. But I mean, thanks for just like taking this subject and just like digressing on it.
I mean, I like the platform like you provided. Really, it's just like you can just like yeah, you can flesh out
Yeah,
about stuff. You can just kind of be open, and it's nice. Really.
yeah, just like just abstain from biases and just like try to understand the other person and just it's I don't know like the ideas we talked about today is nice. But yeah, I will leave you off now because I have church in like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But yeah, thanks a lot, Julian.
No, that was fun, dude. All right.
Dude, you have a good one. Take care, man.
Yeah, you too, man.